Oh, lady, how about you shut up? I'm doing YouTube, bitch. Come on, man! Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!
Subscribe to YouTube.
Not the worst idea I've heard. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Welcome to Uncle Lou After Dark. And on today's episode, we're going to be watching some NBA playoffs. We've got the 76ers at the Knicks. Game 1, round number 2. The Knicks, holy shit. Did y'all see the, we got to fix the, I'll fix the scoreboard. The game doesn't start till 8. I'll work on that here now. The Knicks beat the absolute soul out of the Hawks in that elimination game in Atlanta. I don't watch a ton of NBA basketball. I watch a handful of playoff games every year. I don't hardly watch the regular season at all. I watch a handful of playoff games every year. I don't know that I've ever seen a beating like that in a playoff game. A home team. And it's not like the Hawks are some kind of, it's not like the Knicks are like light years ahead of the Hawks or whatever. The Hawks had won a couple of games. The Hawks had the best record in the NBA over the second half of the season. Like they weren't going to win the NBA title. And the Knicks were favored to win the series. But holy shit, they were up by 60 points, like at multiple points in that game. At one point, they went on like a 40-something-4 run. It was bad. It was real bad. The Hawks fans, if any exist, have to be down bad after watching that absolute disaster of a performance there. Now, let's see if we can't get this scoreboard fixed. So the Knicks beat the Hawks, and then the 76ers beat Boston in Game 7. I believe it was Game 7. I watched that game on the plane ride home from Las Vegas. I had a great time last week. In Vegas, like I always do. Uncle Lou's home away from home, Las Vegas. I had a great time. Oh, yeah, the scoreboard. Pay attention, Woo. You need to pay attention, Woo. That's what you need to do. There we go. How'd that be? I think that'd be just fine. Okay, good. 2 playoff games today. So 76ers and the Knicks. And then you got the Timberwolves at the Spurs. And listen. The Timberwolves can't beat the Spurs on their best day, most likely. And with all these injuries that the Timberwolves have, I think Anthony Edwards is out. I don't even – has anybody heard? Is he supposed to play? He missed the last couple of games of their series against the Nuggets. And they were lucky to beat the Nuggets without him. DiVincenzo, Uncle Lou's favorite mob basketball player, of course, DiVincenzo. Although he plays for Minnesota, used to play for the Knicks, which, as you know, is in New York City. DiVincenzo, I believe, a member of the Gambino crime family, if I remember correctly. Anyway, he tore his Achilles. He's done. Anthony Edwards is hobbling around like he doesn't know what he's doing. There's some other woozy that starts for the T-Wolves that was out. I don't know how the hell they beat the Nuggets, but they did. But they've got a 0% chance against the Spurs without those guys. So, which is fine with Uncle Lou, because I've got a futures bet on the Spurs to win it all. Now, the Thunder looks like the best team, and that'll likely be the Western Conference Finals, the Thunder versus the Spurs. But I think the 76ers and Knicks series will be a good one, back and forth type of series. Anyway, we got the poll going so I can lose some money betting on whatever the comment section says to bet on. Y'all have about a 20% hit rate. So make sure you cast your vote in that poll so that y'all can then watch me lose money betting on whatever it is y'all tell me to bet on, which is what y'all love to do. Anthony Edwards is playing tonight. Well, that should at least give the T-Wolves a shot in a couple of games, but I still don't expect the Timberwolves to be much of a match for the Spurs and Wembanyama. Guy's 9 foot tall and has handles like Magic Johnson. It's not fair. It's like, I don't even know if you can still do this anymore, but back in the day, way back in the day when Uncle Lou used to play video games, college years, shit like that, and you'd play these sports games, basketball, whatever, you could do create a player, and you could give him like whatever stats you wanted. That's what Wemby is. It's like, let's make him 8 feet tall. Let's give him like a 95% three-point rating. And let's give him Magic Johnson dribbling ability and passing ability. That's what Victor Wembanyama is. It's unfair to watch. When you watch an NBA game, it's hard to notice how tall those guys are because they're all tall. So you don't have a lot of reference point unless you see one of them standing next to one of the woozy referees. But like they're all 6'6", 6'7", so they all look good. 6'7", so they all look tall. These people look like midgets standing next to Wembanyama. It's not fair. And the guy's got handles like a point guard. He can basically do a layup from the free throw line. I mean, he's just, like it's ridiculous. He's like a fucking Gumby out there. Fucking Gumby over here. Anyway, so it'll be tough for the T-Wolves to handle the Spurs, but I do think the 76ers and the Knicks will be a good series. And that one starts at 8 o'clock, coming up in about 20 minutes. What is the poll tonight? It is first half total points, over 109 or under 109 and a half. You guys get your picks in. Hey, I'm more transparent than the Trump administration. Look, I release the Epstein files every week. So I've got the calculations here since I started keeping track because you guys are sick and you like to know how much money I'm losing on this pay lose movement. Unfortunately for y'all, I have won money so far since I started tracking it. Now, I've always told y'all on a week-to-week basis, I won this amount last week or I lost this amount last week, but I've never tracked it. And the reason I don't track it is because I know for a fact I lose money over the long run, like every gambler on earth does. I know there's people on the internet that lie to you and tell you they make money betting on sports. They don't. They might make money today, then tomorrow they lose twice that. That's just how it is. You can't beat the house. I do it for fun. And so I've never tracked it week by week because I don't want the emotional stress of knowing how much money I'm giving away to this gypsy jizzrag bookie what lives across the river in South Carolina. But y'all never leave me alone about it. So, and I promise I'm going to take a breath in a little bit and stop talking, but I'm on a roll right now. Hey, I've been gone. I haven't hung out with y'all in a week. I'm on an absolute fucking tear right now, and I'm not coming up for air anytime soon, but I will eventually. So anyway, been tracking it for 6 weeks because y'all won't leave me alone about it. So here's the last 6 weeks numbers. 1,650, lost 1,800, 1,900, won 1,000, won 227, lost 109 this past week. So the total since I've been keeping track over that 6 week period is plus $868. So unfortunately, you can't troll me. And guess what? If it weren't for the comment section bets, instead of 868 to the good, I'd be about 1,200 to the good. Y'all cost me, because I'm calculating that too, y'all cost me on average, by getting these poll questions wrong, about $350 a week. Y'all cost me about $350 a week. And some of you can't even hit the thumbs up. Some of you come here just to vote in the poll so I'll lose money, and don't even have the common courtesy to give me a reach around. I mean, don't even have the common courtesy to hit the thumbs up. Did I say reach around? I meant thumbs up. Y'all got some kind of fucking nerve. How many people have hit the thumbs up right now? I'll rage quit right now. Look, I haven't streamed in a week. If you think I'm not ripping and ready to go, you got another thing coming. And don't make me have to go over this point with you 100 times today either. But telling me what to do is not a good idea. So keep that in mind. Now, how many people have hit the thumbs up here? 37 out of 60 people. That's barely over half. I'm not drinking any coffee until that gets to 50. So I'll just sit here like a bump on a log, watching this basketball. Watching the basketball. I'll sit like a bump on a log. I won't say shit. I won't put on no show. I won't argue with anybody. I won't get mad about anything. I'm not going to do any of the shit that y'all want me to do. Not going to do it. Not gonna that. Wouldn't be prudent. 1,000 points of light. How you doing? Yeah. Yeah. Big facts. Nothing but facts here. I always tell the truth, even when I lie. Even when I lie. Man. 44 likes. What did I say? 50? I'm not saying shit. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not reading no chat. I'm sit here. Check my email. I'll sit here, check my damn email. Check my email. What's going on here with the email routine? Nothing there. I've got a lot of different. I've got. Hey, listen. I got a lot of different emails. Let me check this one. Message from Carnival. Carnival.com. Bad news. Spirit went out of business. Good news. Carnival's still in business. So, same customer base. So, they can, the Spirit people can still go on cruises. Like me. I'm not a Spirit person, but I am going on a Carnival cruise. So, yeah. 46 thumbs up. Imagine if there was 50. Imagine if there was 50, but there's not 50. Not 50. Let's see. Check these baseball scores here. The Tigers are winning. That's good. That's good for me because I bet on the Tigers. Mets and Rockies. Mets are winning 4-2. That's not good. Bet on the Rockies. Mets are dog shit, 12-22. Of course, the Rockies are dog shit too, but you know how bad you have to be worse than... I'm not talking to y'all, by the way. I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to y'all until we get to 50 thumbs up, so I'm just talking to myself. But do you know how bad you have to be as a baseball team to have a worse record than the fucking Rockies? But the Mets have somehow figured out a way. But of course, now I bet on the Rockies and the Mets are losing. Fuck the Metropolitans. I don't even go to the opera. So they can kiss my ass. Fuck the opera. Fuck the Met Museum too. I don't know. Is it the New York Met? I don't even know if it Mets. Is it Metropolitan? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. In fact, it couldn't matter any less. 15 minutes to the basketball game. I'm not reading the chat or doing anything until we get to 50 likes, and we're only at 46, so I'm not doing anything. The NHL. Didn't bet in the NHL today. Flyers up 2-1 on the Hurricanes. Dang. The Hurricanes can't even win anything in hockey. Dang. Oh, God. Miami fans are sitting around going, I didn't even know we had a hockey team. Yeah. Did you know you don't have a hockey stadium either, do you? Which hockey stadium do they all borrow? Borrow your football stadium. Your spring game at the fucking women's soccer field. End of the 8th inning. Still 4-2. Rockies have one more at bat, but they're the fucking Rockies, so they're not likely to do anything with it. I ain't got no interest in it. Okay, well, that's you, bud. You do you. Oh, 50 thumbs up. Hey, all right, how's everyone doing? Happy Monday. What's up, Dog in D.C., Hog Man, Go Canes, Buck Rational, Traveling Fools. What's up, buddy? See you in here. David Neal, Jay Shipes, Utah Man, Tice Cold. Turn the heat up, bud. Is Lou artistic? No, autistic, bud. I'm the whole fucking spectrum, my guy. Now, as far as artistic goes, I can't even draw a fucking stick man. But if you meant autistic, yes, extremely. I've got like almost every marker. Yep. Nick Talby, chatty guitar, grumpy Clemson fan. That could be any of them. They're all pretty grumpy. I don't blame them. Badgers for life. David Neal, Jay Collins. Milk is Con or Milk is Con. Either or. Cayman Chris, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in here. How was Vegas? Vegas was amazing, like it always is. It's the best city on earth. Las Vegas, Nevada. I had a great time. Didn't win any money, but I had a great time. I won last time I went, so I knew most likely coming out a loser this time. You know, Vegas can't let you win every time. Those buildings out there, maybe you haven't noticed, they're not getting smaller. They're getting bigger. So yeah, you can't win every time. I had a great trip last time, January, but they got some of it back this time. I sent you an email. I don't believe you. That sounds like something Slaw would do. Or Edward. Why are you on the Edward routine? Oh, you did send me an email. Sir UJ, thank you for the email. Trump is a 10-star dummy. Well, listen, they're all dummies to some degree. They're all dummies to some degree, the politician type people, and I guess Trump is no exception to that rule. I guess I said thank you for the email. Is that the first time I've ever thanked someone for an email? Probably, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Also, and two. Let's see, what else is going on? I'm not real sure. Hold on and I'll tell you. Hold on and I will tell you. What else is going on here? Let's see. What do we want to do here? What do we want to do? Well, we want to let it do what it do. We know that. That's obvious. We're obviously going to let it do what it do. That goes without saying. Well, I guess technically it doesn't go without saying because I just said it. It could have gone without saying had I not said it, though. I think everyone is aware already that that's what I do. I let it do what it do. I let it do what it do. Yeah, I let it do what it do. I'm still on Patreon, and I'm sad that I'm not blue. Yeah, I reset all the Patreon wrenches a few weeks ago. I did have a couple of Patreon streams where I handed the wrenches back out, but of course was out of town this last week, so we'll have another Patreon stream this weekend. And even if you can't stick around for the whole stream, you know the deal. Just pop your head in, say hello, leave a comment or two so I can see that you're in there, and I will hand the wrenches back out post haste. Or forthwith, too, if I can. And I'm pretty sure that I can. I sent you a WhatsApp. If you sent me a WhatsApp, you sent it to an imposter. I don't have a WhatsApp. Notre Dame will be nervous come November 7th. May the 4th be with you. Yeah, this is a good time to remind everybody that Josh Pate has never seen a single second of any Star Wars movie, yet some of y'all still take him seriously. Well, okay, bud. And you won't believe who he ranked again. When will this guy learn? I don't understand. These people talk about the Epstein files, and they must have blackmail on this person and that person, and they must have something on this guy because they won't release this or that. What does Florida have on Josh Pate? This guy ranks Florida. Last year he had him as a playoff team. 2 years ago he had him in his top 15. Now he's got him a little lower. He's got him at 21. But why? Every year with this guy, to Josh Pate, with the let's rank Florida routine and then watch them go 4-8. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But, it's funny. Somebody, so on Twitter, Josh Pate posted his whatever he calls it, top 25 today. And somebody in the comments posted his top 25 from last spring. And he had like, I think 6 of his top 10 teams missed the playoffs. Didn't make the playoffs. He only had 4. Only 4 of his top 10 teams even made the playoffs. I don't understand it, man. I really don't. Yeah, he had Nebraska in the playoffs, Florida in the playoffs. The only limb he went out on, and he kind of got it right, was Oklahoma. He was higher on Oklahoma than most people were last year, and they ended up making the playoffs. So he wasn't all wrong, but it was a lot of wrong, though. Not gonna lie. What are we doing? Oh, live streaming. Yep. How's everybody doing? Is everybody doing good? Detroit's still winning. I like that. The Rockies are up to bat in the bottom of the 9th. This is their stop that, man. This is their last chance. They're down 4-2. I did bet on the Rockies to win, and they're losing 4-2. I also took the Tigers to beat the Red Sox, and the Tigers are winning 2-0 in the 7th inning. So looks like we're going to end up going 1-1 to start the week on 2 baseball bets. Then we will lose whatever this comment section bet is, because y'all tend to lose every bet you tell me to make. And then I'll have to try to make it up on the later game, I guess. Ohio State is not making the playoffs this year. If there was ever a year to make that prediction, this would be the year. They do have a really tough schedule. They have a really tough schedule. I stayed out way too late last night past curfew, Pops. I also got into trouble, so it looks like you're going to need to ground me for a week from Nintendo. Yeah, I'm going to need you to bring me your phone charger too, bud. Let me hang on to that for several days. Yeah. Is Octavian and Pete related? Maybe. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
See how the lady tells you good morning there? Yeah, because she cares about you. What's up, Berg? We're doing the stream routine, bud. You going to get up in your chair, or what are you going to do? Okay, yeah, see Berg up in the chair there. What's up, Berg? Give me something, dude. Give me something, bud. There you go. There you go, Berg. Shout out, Berg. Shout out to Burgle. Shout out to Burgle there. Let's see what else is going on. JP is a 5-star dummy. Good morning, BA. Is Go Vols now a Miami fan? Well, that would be alarming. That would be extremely alarming. That would be extremely alarming, to say the least. To say the least. Oh, anybody who wants to go to see Dave Matthews next week in Atlanta? Next Friday. Not this Friday, but next Friday. Who wants to go? I'm going. Who wants to go? Dave Matthews at the Amphitheater in Alpharetta next Friday. Who wants to go? Nobody? All right. Well, don't say I never invited you anywhere. White people will be flying down from the rafters at the Dave Matthews concert. Well, there are no rafters at an outdoor concert, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Not me, not a Dave Matthews fan, but my wife is. Well, take your wife then, dummy. Or, hey, who wants to go see Journey the Monday after that in Columbia, South Carolina? Anyone? Nobody? All right. Well, Dave Matthews Band, Friday night, May 15th, the Amphitheater in Alpharetta, right outside Atlanta. Journey, Monday night, May 18th. So the 15th and the 18th. Dave Matthews on Friday the 15th. Journey on Monday the 18th. Atlanta and Columbia. Yeah. Yep. Nobody wants to go. Nobody wants to go. Just me and you, lady. Just me and you, lady. Can I join for Journey? Of course you can. Go to StubHub.com. Buy a ticket. Show up in Columbia on May 18th. All right, last one. Y'all ready? I got one more. It's not a concert, but I got one more. Y'all let me know when you're ready. I got one more. I got one more. Roll it out, Lou. Cherokee. Yes. Yes. Cherokee, North Carolina, the last weekend of May, the weekend after Memorial Day. So Memorial Day is like the 25th or whatever the fuck. Cherokee, North Carolina, May 29th, Friday, May 29th to Monday, whatever day that is, June 1st or 2nd. Okay. Do I need to recap that for you? I want me to recap that for you. Not gonna that. Not gonna that. Georgia Tech is a baseball skew now. Are they? At least there is something skew, finally. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Where are we going? I'm going at the end of June for my birthday. To a Cherokee? Let me know. I'll try to meet you up there, although I got a lot going on in June. Nothing at the end of June, but a lot going on in June. The Cherokee trip is going to be fun. They're getting ready to open up the pool up there. The outdoor pool area at Harris Cherokee is really, really nice. It's a big pool, tons of seating all around the pool. They've got a full restaurant out there right by the pool, a full bar. They have servers that walk around. They'll take you don't have to get out of your lounge chair. They walk right up. You want something to eat, you want something to drink, they put your order in. If you want to go order from the bar, you can, but they bring it right to you. So we're going to go up there the last weekend of May, Friday, May 29th through that Monday, whatever day that is. What is that, June 1st or 2nd? Whatever the fuck. June 1st. So Friday, May 29th through Monday, June 1st. We're going to spend a couple of days at the pool. We're going to spend a couple of nights in the casino, too. It will be fun. It will be fun. A good time will be had by all. I have it on good authority. Uncle Lou never disappoints, except when he didn't break out during the Vaultard after Ohio State beat the hell out of them in the Neyland North Massacre. Yeah, that would have been a good time to break him out, really. The best season Tennessee has had in 30 years or whatever. Would have been a good time. Would have been a good time. Where's HOF Trey? That I don't know. I have no idea where he is. SEC Network was talking about DeBoer replacements earlier today. DeBoer just signed a massive extension and raise. He's not getting. Bama could go 2-10 this year. They're not firing him. His buyout is $90 million. He ain't getting replaced. Lou has some empathy for the poor Tennessee man. I actually respect that. Well, you want to know what I respect? That now that Tennessee has actually become respectable, and they have had a couple of respectable seasons. Let's call it like it is. Look, I love shitting on teams when they're down and out. But if you do that, you have to do the opposite too. You've got to give teams credit when they're good, right? Tennessee had a couple of good years. And what I respect is that Tennessee fans have somehow become less stupid than they were when they were winning 5 games a year. For a decade, we watched Tennessee win 5 games a year, and we had to listen every offseason about how they were winning it all next year. Now that they've become somewhat respectable, winning 8+ games a year, made the playoffs once, that's gone. I don't see that anymore. Do y'all? Now, I know you see a fan here or there, but I mean in general, you don't see or hear the level of idiocy from the Voltard man that you did while they were busy winning 5 games a year. It's weird. It's real weird. It's real weird. Don't worry. Notre Dame fans and Miami fans have filled in. Yeah, well, you can't tell a Notre Dame man or a Miami man anything, can you? You can't tell them nothing. Notre Dame in particular, Notre Dame fans in particular. And let me preface this again, like I do every single time I go on this rant here. Both Notre Dame and Miami are going to be really good this year. Fact. It's also a fact that their fans have become an amount of retarded that's hard to even explain. Notre Dame has gone from telling us that every player they have is the best player, every position group they have is the best position group, Marcus Freeman is the best coach, they have the best coaching staff. They've gone from that to now their backups are the best backups in college football history. Notre Dame man on Twitter says that Jadarian Price is the best backup running back in college football history. The guy had 1,600 career yards. Now, he's good. He's not the best backup in college football history. Fuck, Sony Michel played behind Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb for a total of 4 years. 1 year behind Todd Gurley, 3 years behind Nick Chubb. And he had 3,600 yards. He had a 1,000-yard season. Jadarian Price had 1,600 yards, not last year, total in his whole fucking career. And now he's the best college football backup running back in history? Like, what are we doing? I got to close this poll. Y'all want under, okay? First half under. Let's go. First half under. Bing, bang. First half under 109 is the bet. The polls, I think, said 109.5, but the line has changed to 109. So we are first half under 109 points. I am going to put a separate bet in on the Knicks minus 3.5. First half. Bang. Bang. No, that line changed too. Knicks minus 4. Bing, bang. Knicks minus 4. Also, let the record reflect through the entirety of this show that I am saying Knicks. Knicks. Okay? So, if the Knicks don't cover this 4 in the first half, and I go on a rant and I say, fuck these Knicks. 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 Objection. Ballard? That has been asked and answered, bud. Do you ever miss Hall of Fame Trey? You are Hall of Fame Trey. That's the only explanation for you asking about him now 15 times in the last 5 minutes. You are Hall of Fame Trey. You have changed your name to Gator Kai 182. There is no other explanation for you asking about HOF Trey 14 times in the last 7 minutes. That's the only explanation there, bud. Look at this, y'all. Either that or y'all are dating. And look, if y'all are dating, I don't care. I'm a woke whatever the fuck, so I don't care. But look at this. Lou, do you ever miss Hall of Fame Trey? He's funny. He knows ball. Hey, Lou, do you ever miss Hall of Fame Trey? He's funny. He knows ball. Where's Hall of Fame Trey? Call them it because they're confused. Pronouns dumbest shit ever. Stay away from people with exotic color, hair, and fat. So not only are you Hall of Fame Trey, but your mind might be rotted from the inside out too. What are you doing, man? What is the deal with you and Hall of Fame Trey? I mean, what do you think I have his phone number or something? Hello, is this HOF Trey? Yeah, hey, you know Gator Kai in the comment section? Oh, you don't know him? Yeah, no, I don't know him either. But there's this guy in the comment section, Gator Kai, has asked where you're at 19 times in the last 2 minutes. Can you tell me where you're at so I can tell Gator Kai where you're at so he can start typing something different, or he can get back to talking about purple-haired people like he normally does? Because it's just over and over again with the "where is Trey" speech. Oh, that's fine. All right, I'll let him know. All right, Trey. Thanks, bud. He said he's not telling you where he's at. Coffee good. Water wet. All right, we're getting ready to get started with this basketball. Let me make sure the Rockies lost like they were supposed. Yeah, the Rockies lost. So, and it gets worse. The Tigers, who were winning 2-0 in the 6th inning, are now losing 5-2 in the 7th inning. We're about to be 0-2. 0-3 if you count the comment section, bet. Bang. I better hit that Knicks -4. Knicks. Who you got between Wolves and Spurs? Spurs. Spurs tonight and Spurs to win the series. Lou is jealous. Of what? Your relationship with Trey? I don't have any interest in dating Trey. You can have him, bud. I like Trey as a caller, but I don't have any interest in dating him or anything. Lou, did you read the other day that Kirby Smart said any Alabama team for the 2010s would destroy any championship team today? Yes. They're doing the introductions here in the basketball. This OG Anunoby or whoever the fuck, this guy single-handedly beat the Hawks the other day. Next Harris Cherokee trip, Lou. May 29th through June 1st. That's a Friday through a Monday. I'm going to do a couple of days at the pool there. The pool, I don't know if have you ever been there? The outdoor pool area at Cherokee I really like it a lot. I really like it. There's plenty of shaded area. If you want to get out of the sun, there's plenty of lounge chairs around the pool. If you want to be in the sun, the pool is huge. The pool is nice. They've got a full restaurant out there, a full bar out there. It's really nice. I really like the pool area at Cherokee. Because it's in North Carolina, it doesn't open until late in the year. Like, it's not open now. It doesn't open until the middle or end of May. It usually opens on Memorial Day weekend. So I'm going the next weekend. because Memorial Day weekend, they'll be super crowded. But the weekend after that, May 29th through June 1st, we're going up there. Come hang out with us. Do you think Klubnik will do anything in the NFL other than suck? No. No. This was a bad quarterback draft class, in my opinion. I think it was a down class in general, and then I also think that the transfer portal has. I think there are less quarterbacks coming out of college now that are ready to start immediately in the NFL than there was before, and I think a lot of it has to do with transferring. I don't think there's anything wrong with transferring. I don't, we're not putting the toothpaste back in the jar. I get all that, whatever, transferring. Okay. It is what it is. I mean, but if you're in college for 4 years and you have to learn 3 different offenses, I don't know if that's great for development. But who was the second quarterback taken? Ty Simpson. I mean, he was good, but I mean, does anybody think he's going to be a star in the NFL? I don't know if Mendoza's going to be a star in the NFL. I have a hard time articulating my opinions on Indiana without it sounding like I'm disrespecting Indiana, but that's really not the case. Indiana was clearly the best team in college football last year and deserved to win the national title 100%. No question about it, period. End of story. It's also true they were like the 35th most talented team in the country. Like, that's also true. Like, look at their draft. It's not like somebody was talking about those Bama teams from the 20 teens. Bama would win the national title in 2012 and have 9 Pro Bowlers on it. Indiana don't have 9 Pro Bowlers. The natty teams that the Georgia's natties in 21 and 22, those teams have 10, 15 Pro Bowlers in the NFL. Indiana doesn't have that. So that's no disrespect. College football has changed. It's not what it was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago in terms of the talent, where it's at, where it's concentrated. It's more spread out. But if you're just going on a pure talent, Ohio State was more talented than Indiana. Georgia was more talented than Indiana. Texas was more talented than Indiana. Miami was more talented than Indiana. LSU was more talented than Indiana. I mean, there's 30 teams you can find that were more talented than Indiana. But there wasn't a better team than Indiana. And football is the ultimate team sport. So, I mean, you can have all the talent you want. If it's not playing up to potential and you're playing somebody like Indiana who's coached to perfection, I mean, they made no mistakes. Indiana. It was like, I told y'all this before, watching Indiana play football last year was like playing the college football video game on Heisman difficulty. The computer's never jumping off sides. They're never dropping a pass. They're never committing any penalties. They're never blowing a blocking assignment. Like they do everything right. That was what Indiana was last year. Miami winning the Natty this year with Mensa. I think Mensa will win the Heisman. He's my pick to win the Heisman. I think he's going to have a crazy year. All right, basketball game just underway. No score. Sixers on the road in New York to take on the Knicks. Knicks with the ball in the first minute of the game here. Spin move into the lane to the hoop, up and in, deflected and blocked by Philly. Clemson had 9 draft picks. Yeah, that's kind of, that's what I'm getting at. Like, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way to Indiana. It's actually a compliment. They didn't have the talent of the top 5 or top 10 teams, but they played better as a team and they were better coached. So I mean it as a compliment, but when I try to talk about it, sometimes people take it the wrong way, like I'm trying to disrespect Indiana, like they didn't have any good players. No, they had a lot of good players. How many great players do they have? 2? All tied at 2. Knicks inbounding the ball. 10 minutes to go, first quarter. Jalen Brunson with the ball from the free throw line. A jumper, and it goes 4-2. Knicks with an early lead. Looks like Gator Kai logged out and logged in with his other account. Here we go. Oh, now he's logged in with both accounts. I'm not trying to sound like a bad fan, but if Georgia best returning receiver is London Humphreys, then to get ready for run, not run, pass. Well, we don't know if he's their best returning receiver, but he's their leading returning receiver. Now, there are a lot of young receivers at Georgia, first and second year receivers, who just haven't played. And if you're a Georgia fan, which I am, we have to hope that one or two of those guys is better than London Humphreys. But I will agree with you. If we get halfway through the season and London Humphreys is Georgia's best wide receiver, that's a problem. If Georgia doesn't find a go-to wide receiver or two, and they don't find somebody that can sack the quarterback, they're going to continue to bump their head on the same ceiling over and over and over again. They'll make the playoffs, and then they'll get beat. Georgia 7-5. You won't bet $1 on that. You won't bet $1 on that. Georgia hasn't lost 5 regular season games since Kirby's first year. They haven't lost more than 2 regular season games in 10 years. And now they're going to lose 5? That's a flimsy limb you've done stumbled out onto. Don't sleep on South Carolina football. I'm hibernating on South Carolina. I had South Carolina pom-poms last offseason. I had South Carolina ranked in the preseason, thought they had an outside shot to make the SEC championship game, and they shit on their foot for 3 months. I'm off the Beamer train. There's not enough talent there. Lenore Sellers is good, but he was good 2 years ago, and they went 9-3. Nicholas Harbor is good, but he was good 2 years ago, and they went 9-3. So I'd be surprised if they make a bowl game. It's been 10 years since they've been able to run the ball. They've done nothing to address it or fix it. So I'm off the hype train for South Carolina. Plus, they're back to playing Georgia every year. That's one extra loss. See, they didn't have to worry about that the last 2 years. After getting beat like a drum by Georgia for the last 30 years, they finally got Georgia off their schedule and failed to take advantage of it. Now Georgia's back on their schedule again. So that's just another loss for them every year. Unfortunately for Carolina Juke Poot, and he knows it's true. We had the SEC's leading rusher in 2012. That was the COVID year. Come on. Hello. That was COVID, bud. Hello. Is anyone there? Eight to 7 is our score coming up on the halfway point of the first quarter here. Philly with a 1-point lead and the ball. Embiid with a jumper from the corner of the free throw, no good. Knicks with the rebound. All the way to the hole, off the rim, no good. Ooh. Karl Anthony Towns, that looked like that hurt. Boy, he hit the floor hard. Are y'all watching the game? Lou don't know ball. Yeah, I've never seen a game, bud. Meanwhile, every offseason, you call me up with the Florida's going 9-3 speech. Fries. Bag. Now. Did you see Montreal beat Tampa Bay? I don't know about the only taking 9 shots, but I did see that Montreal beat Tampa Bay, yeah. Commercial break now. The Braves at the Mariners. Surely the Braves will beat them. Why are the Mariners favored? The Mariners are favored to beat the Braves? I don't know if I'm falling for that. Might have to bet the Bravos in that one. That's Mexican for Braves, for those of you that aren't bilingual like I am. I forgot to ask Lou, did you see Project Hail Mary? No, I did not. I've seen Interstellar, so I've kind of seen Project Hail Mary. I've seen the better version, but no, I have not seen Project Hail Mary. We went to see the Michael Jackson movie instead, and it was dog shit. It's a terrible fucking movie. It's just not any good. So, and that's disappointing. That was extremely disappointing. Project Hail Mary sucked. Can't be worse than the Michael Jackson movie. That Michael Jackson movie is a steaming pile, bud. And I had high hopes. I had high hopes. The Braves have been on an absolute steamer. Yeah, I'm having a hard time figuring out why I shouldn't back the Brinks truck up and bet the Braves as an underdog against Seattle. Yeah, I mean, if you're a big Michael Jackson fan, which I am, maybe it's worth seeing if you wait till it's comes out on Netflix or wherever it comes out streaming eventually. But as far as spending the $900 it costs to go to the movies, I don't think the Michael Jackson movie was worth that. No, it was bad. First of all, the movie only goes through like 1984 or 1985. It ends there. There's nothing after that. It starts when he's a little kid getting slapped around by his dad. Then the Jackson 5 years. Then him breaking away from the Jackson 5, going solo. And then his dad guilt tripping him into doing one last tour with the Jackson 5 called the Victory Tour, which he did in 1985 or whatever it was. And the movie ends with the final concert of the Victory Tour. And so it's not, it's like, where's part 2? But the problem is part 1's so bad. Now nobody, we're not going to, I don't want a part 2 now. Because part 1 was so bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Part 2 is coming soon. They might have plans for a part 2, but I'm telling you, this movie is absolute dog shit. So they might need to scrap that part 2. The Knicks with a 2-point lead, 10-8 over Philly. 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Home game for the Knicks. This is game 1, round 2. And Embiid's going to be fouled and headed to the free throw line. Yeah, Knicks. Yeah, Knicks. That's right. That's right there, bub. That's right there, bub. What's up there, bub? Interstellar is one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie. I mean, well, first of all, anything by Christopher Nolan is amazing. That's number one. Christopher Nolan doesn't know how to make a bad movie. By the way, if you're disappointed with the Temu version of Interstellar, Project Hail Mary or whatever it's called, or that dog shit Michael Jackson movie, or anything else, Just wait another month or so, because the next Christopher Nolan movie is coming out. Is it June 20th that thing comes out? The Odyssey. July 17th. So we got 2 months, a little over 2 months to wait. Let's go. The under's looking good. Yeah, under looked good so far. Only 20 points scored in the first half of the first quarter. So the under is looking good. Brunson, long three, no good. Embiid with the rebound, all tied at 10 here. South Carolina plays Georgia at home. We will win that. Yeah, right. Great home record y'all have last few years. Yep. Yeah. Alley-oop from Brunson is good. Who was that? Was that OG Anobi? Or that Obi-Wan Kenobi? I don't know. The Knicks have that guy that's related to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Speaking of May the 4th be with you, and also with you. Brunson hits a jumper from the free throw line. Knicks retake the lead. But you know that Obi-Wan Kenobi, what was in Star Wars, his brother plays for the Knicks. What's his OG Ananobu? Related to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. The more you know deals. Let's see. Hoghead, thank you for the super chat. He says, it's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight, Lou. Thanks for having me. Bud, the honor is all mine. Now, the privilege, yeah, you can have the privilege, but the honor is all mine, bud. Joe Lish, thank you for the super chat. He says, man, don't mix up Knicks and 76ers and put those together too quickly or it will be canceled like our Lord and Savior Diddy. Yeah, yes, you would. That would be bad. And I'm going to try not to do that. Don't know much about hockey, but I bet on the Flyers tonight, so I hope they win. Well, they were beating the soul and will to live out of the Hurricanes, which is par for the course, and they're still up on them 2-1 with 7:42 to go in the second period. I got into an argument with a UGA fan today that said Georgia is wide receiver U. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Now, I have to admit, because no one's been harder on the Georgia wide receiver situation than I have, and Georgia's inability to get like a top line, wide receiver 1, 5-star, first rounder, or wide receiver 1 type of talent. But in the last 10 years, the 3 schools that have put the most receivers in the NFL, Ohio State, LSU, Georgia, that blew my mind when I saw that. But it's a bunch of mid-level wide receivers. And look, it's been some good ones. There's been very few great ones. You had Ladd McConkey, 3-star, diamond in the rough. Nobody wanted him. Georgia kind of got lucky there. He fell in his lap. You had Ladd McConkey. You had George Pickens, A.D. Mitchell, but he transferred out. Beyond that, you've had a lot of good, but you've had very few. Colby Young, he gets drafted. Players like that. You're going down the list, but Georgia is not wide receiver U. That's ridiculous. That title right now would go to Ohio State. Anybody making a case for anybody other than Ohio State to be wide receiver U right now is just ridiculous. Ohio State's had a wide receiver drafted in the first round for like 5-6 drafts in a row. And they're lined up to have another one for the next 2 or 3 years in a row, too, starting with Jeremiah Smith this coming year. Knicks score to retake the lead, 18-17. A little bit of a back-and-forth game here in the first quarter, 4:20 to go. Knicks with a 1-point lead. Philly with the ball. Embiid, top of the key, hands it off to, is that Maxey? Embiid, pump fakes from 3. Now he wants to drive. Step back jumper. Drains it. Philly retakes the lead, 19-18. Some say Chris Henry Jr. might end up better than Smith. Well, you got to be careful because you've spent 3 years telling everybody that Jeremiah Smith is the greatest prospect in the history of Earth. So if the very next guy is now better than that's usually not true. Kalen DeBoer is not as good as Nick Saban. It's just not. And the idea that you're going to try to sell people on Chris Henry Jr. is now better than the greatest ever, that's going to be a hard sell for the Ohio State fans to make to people. Knicks extending the lead a little now. They hit a 3. They're up 24-19, biggest lead of the game. 5-point lead with 3:19 to go in the first quarter. Heartline gone. We'll see if they keep it going with receivers. Happy we only have 90 days till football. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm trying to stay as busy as I can. The problem is it's expensive to stay busy. I figured that out. It's cheap to sit home and do nothing. That's cheap. You can sit home and do nothing for a little bit of money for a long time. But every time you leave your house, it costs a lot of money to leave your house, is what I've figured out. You go out to eat, it's $100. You go to the movies, it's $100. You go out of town, it's way more than that. But the problem is if you sit home and do nothing, then it drags. So I try to stay busy and plan shit to do in the off season. Plus I don't have time to do anything during this season. I work 7 days a week for 4 months straight, from the middle of August to the end of January, basically. Not complaining, but that's what it is. So, I try to, whatever trips I want to do, whatever I try to plan for this time of year, but God dang, it gets expensive to leave the house. At home hobbies. Well, that's the problem. See, my at home hobby is what, chat? What is my at home hobby? It's one of the most expensive hobbies on earth, bud. My at home hobby is one of the most expensive at home hobbies you could possibly have. So that's not even really a viable alternative. Yeah, that's right, Utah man. Gambling. What was the time that made you go, I'm going to do this full time? It was between the 2015 and 2016. It was between the end of the 2015 season and the beginning of the 2016 season when some of my videos started going viral. Now, viral is a relative term. If you're doing videos and they get 500 views, 500 views, 500 views, and then you get one that does 100,000, that's viral based on your channel. And that's what I was at the time. I had a channel that was getting 500, 1,000 views, whatever. And then between the end of 2015 with the whole Fire Mark Richt crusade that I was on, and the hiring of Kirby Smart, and then the 2016 season, they had the Hail Mary game against Tennessee. You had the homecoming loss to Vanderbilt. You had a loss to Georgia Tech at the end of the year. It was a lot of misery. People like to watch misery. So between the sort of last half of the 2015 season and the 2016 season, is when I started to think that if I put more time and effort in, I may be able to figure out a way to make this work full time. So that's what I did. It's like any other business you're going to start. At some point, you have to close your eyes and take the leap. Now, it's smart to prepare as much ahead of time as you can. I was in a situation at the time where I was able financially to make that jump. And it worked out. It paid off. Now, not right away. I didn't make a lot of money in 2016, 2017, 2018. But by 2019 and 2020, I was making more than I ever made at any other job I had ever had. And it's continued to go up year after year. And hopefully that continues to happen. But even if it doesn't, to be honest with you, if I made what I made last year every year for the rest of my life, I would be happy with that. But in this kind of business, if you're not growing, you're probably dying. So you have to, because you're going to have people unsubscribe all the time. You're going to have people that maybe stay subscribed, just quit watching for whatever reason, and so you have to be adding new people all the time, and that's the challenging part. Well, besides the obvious, which is there's no guarantee. You know, I'm not clocking in and clocking out, and some corporation is paying me X amount of dollars per hour or X amount of dollars per year. Like you know, there's days I don't make anything. There's days I make a lot of money. There's months I don't make very much. There's months I make a lot. It's not like it's not steady. It's not like, okay, you talk about college football for this amount of time, and you know, you're going to make this, you know, this is the amount of money you're going to make January, February, March. No, it's not like that. You know, it's up and down, up and down. Obviously you make way more money during the season than you do in the off season. So you got to learn to sort of squirrel a lot of that money away. At least I do. Now I'm sure there are bigger channels that probably make enough in the off season to support themselves with just what they're making in the off season. I don't. If I had to live on what I make in the off season, I wouldn't. I'd have a totally different lifestyle if I had to live on what I make this time of year, but I don't, because I save a bunch of money during football season, which is easy to do because I don't do anything during football season. I don't go anywhere. I don't leave the house. I work 7 days a week. Saturdays I work 12, 15 hours days. So I don't have anything to do with the money that I'm making that time of year. But this time of year, it's, you know, if you knew what I made in a month this time of year, you'd say, well, Uncle Lou ought to be in the poorhouse. It ain't. It's almost nothing. It's almost nothing. Did Lou follow through and do a tinfoil hat video? Yes. It was amazing too. Of course, it's on my second channel. I can't do tinfoil hat videos on this channel because people get, it's so weird to me, but people get mad at those tinfoil hat videos. Like, to me, it's obviously a joke. I mean, it's a grown man jumping under his desk and tinfoil hat on and mumbling incoherently under my breath into the microphone for 15 minutes, but it never fails. Somebody ends up getting mad about it. Are there certain college teams that generate by far the most views for you, or are they close? I'm going to be honest. I don't go about it that way. Now, I probably should. I probably should, but I figure out what I want to talk about and I talk about it. A smarter business strategy or financial strategy would be to constantly review like the last 30 to 45 days worth of videos, see what gains traction versus what doesn't, and then adjust what I do for the next 30 days based off the last 30 days. So like basically what you're asking is, if I make an Ohio State video and it gets 15,000 views, and then I make a Penn State video and it gets 5,000, shouldn't I just quit making Penn State videos and make twice as many Ohio State videos? Financially, or probably that would be better. But I don't do that. If there's something interesting to me, I make a video about it and I talk about it. And then whether or not people choose to watch it is up to them. Now, obviously, I wish people would watch every video I made and hit the thumbs up and comment and all that stuff. But I know that's not the case. But the danger you run into if you run your YouTube channel that way is it would be real easy to fall into like a clickbait type of scenario where let's say I reviewed the last 45 days of videos that I've done, and I've figured out that there are 3 teams that get way more views when I talk about them than anybody else. It would be real easy for me to just come up with, you know, okay, Ohio State, Colorado, and Alabama. when I make videos on Ohio State, Colorado, and Alabama, they get way more views than when I make videos about anything else. So let me just come up with something and do a Colorado, an Ohio State, and an Alabama video every week, even if there's really nothing worth talking about. You run the risk of turning into like a clickbait type scenario. And I've tried real hard not to do that. I've used the Colorado situation as an example of this a lot of times before. But the first 2 years that Deion was at Colorado, almost anybody on the planet could have started a YouTube channel, made a video every day with the words Colorado, Deion Sanders, or Coach Prime in the title, and made a pretty good living. Just every day. Make a video, put those words in the title, and just talk for 8 minutes about something to do with either Colorado, Deion, Coach Prime, something. And you could have made a pretty good living. The problem with doing that is eventually the interest in that one particular subject will go away. And when that happens, you have a dead channel. Maybe during that 2-year period, you ran up 100,000 subscribers and made $100,000. Great. But what happens now when no one's interested in that anymore? And your channel has become basically a Deion, Colorado, Coach Prime channel. Well, now you got a dead channel. You got to start back over again. And there are people that did that. So I've tried not to do that. I try to spread it around. Now, I probably do talk about the SEC or teams in the SEC more than I do teams in any other league. And then the Big Ten is probably second. But that's not intentional. Like, I don't purposely talk about the SEC more because I think I'll get more views. And, like, I don't talk about the Big Ten because, like, I don't sit here going, man, there's 2 things I want to talk about today. One is in the Big Ten, one's in the ACC. Let me do the Big Ten one because more people will watch that. I don't do that. I'll do the Big Ten video, and then tomorrow I'll do the ACC video. I'll do them both. It just so happens that in the world of college football right now, there are more stories and more things to talk about in the SEC and in the Big Ten than there are in the ACC or the Big 12. But when there is something that is interesting to me in the ACC or the Big 12, I talk about it. So, hope that answers that question. And I'm pretty sure that it does. Yep, Nick's up 6 now, 29-23, just under a minute to go, first quarter. Yeah, I haven't made an Arch Manning video all off season. Didn't make one last year either. Could have. That's another good example because there was just a lot of attention and hype and all that around him. I talked about Arch Manning when I had a reason to, when something came up, but I didn't force myself to talk about Arch Manning just because I knew an Arch Manning video would get views. I have maybe made 10 Colorado videos in 3 years. That's a guess. Somebody wants to, go to YouTube to Uncle Lou, Colorado. Oh, no, it was 12. Okay, well, then it was 12. Whatever. There are people that made 12 a week for 2 years. You want to know another one? And look, love this guy to death. Rest in peace. Golden Blue Dude. Love Golden Blue Dude to death. A slob champion. Great guy. One of the friendliest guys I've ever met in this whole YouTube thing. He had a great YouTube channel going, and he turned it into nothing but a conference expansion conspiracy theory show for like 9 months. Every day for about 9 months straight, he made a conference expansion video. And he used all the buzzwords and all the clickbait titles. Clemson to SEC confirmed. And then you watch the video, and there's nothing about Clemson to the SEC confirmed. Nothing. He laid out every possible scenario. He had Clemson confirmed SEC. A week later, Clemson confirmed Big Ten. A week later, Clemson confirmed stay in the ACC. He did that for every single team. And he got a lot of views, and his channel grew a lot. But I can tell you, and I wish he was still around. I missed the guy. He was a great guy. And I'm not shitting on him. I'm just using this as an example to talk about what we're talking about right now. If he was still around today, he would have to totally redo what he was doing. No one's talking about that anymore. Not on a not those flash in the pan things, those here today, gone tomorrow things. It's not a good way to build it's not a good way to build a successful channel for the long term. You can, they've got the strike while the iron is hot sort of philosophy. But if that's what you turn your channel into, then you are literally having to change what your channel is about. Every month or every 6 months or every year, you're having to reinvent yourself because you put all your eggs into this one basket. And now nobody cares about that basket anymore. $33-25. Last shot of the first quarter coming up here for the Knicks, or not. Kick ball with 1.7 seconds to go. The Knicks will keep it, but they're going to have to inbound and get off a quick shot here at the end of the first quarter. They've got an 8-point lead with 1.7 to go in the first quarter. There's the shot from Brunson, no good, and that's the end of the first quarter. The Knicks 33, the Sixers 25. So we are on track right now to hit both those bets, it looks like. It's going to be close on the over-under. Hopefully the Knicks can hang on with the -4 first half. We also have under 109 points in the first half. So we will see. It's close. Was it 33 plus 25? What is that? 43, 53, 58. They're on pace for a little over 109 right now. Yeah, Golden Blue Dude was a great guy. One of the nicest people I've ever met on here. He was a great guy. I had met his wife, a couple of his kids. They were all great people. I'll tell you this about Golden Blue Dude, too. He was, what do they call it? He was punching up with his significant other. He had a good looking wife. He had a good looking wife. Is it true Lou's brother is Timmy Trumpet? I love Timmy Trumpet, but no, not my brother. No, not my brother. Yeah, he was from West Virginia, lived in South Carolina. Yeah. No, believe it or not, no relation. Yeah, no relation. Ripley's, believe it or not, no relation on that deal there. Yeah. Commercial break now as we wait on the second quarter to start. Other game not coming on until 9:30. 9:30. Yeah, Golden Blue Dude passed away 3 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago. Let's see. The Atlanta Slob Olympics was in 2021. The Pigeon Forge Slob Olympics was in 2022. He won that. So it was 2022. He passed away in 2022. He won the Slob Olympics in March of 2022 and passed away I believe later that year, because he passed away before the next Slob Olympics. So yeah, he passed away in 2022. Was he at the Isle of Palms Slob Olympics? Was he? Okay, so he passed away in 2023 then. That's right. He was at the he won the Slob Olympics in 2022 in Pigeon Forge. He was at the Slob Olympics in 2023 at Isle of Palms, South Carolina. And then he passed away before the 2024 Slob Olympics in Panama City. So he passed away in 2023. All right, second half underway. The Knicks with a 10-point lead. Philly into the lane, kicks it out to the corner for three. No good, and the Knicks with the rebound. Looking to run it up here. Go ahead and run it up, Knicks. Let's go. Sepsis is bad shit. Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but it did seem to happen quick. Knicks miss a three. Philly with the rebound. Still a 10-point lead for New York. What was for dinner tonight, Woo? We did a lasagna, a Caesar salad, and garlic bread. Not my favorite, but I will eat it once every couple of months or so. Knicks up 12 now. Lou, do you agree with the college football expansion of 24 teams? No, I don't. I don't think there's any way to go to 24 teams without negatively impacting the regular season. And as much as I like the college football playoff, the 4-team and actually the 12-team, I've enjoyed the 12-team playoff. I don't like the calendar, don't like how spread out it is, but I like the 12-team playoff, like the 4-team playoff. So far, it has not affected the regular season. But there is a point somewhere where you get to so many teams where you do negatively impact the regular season. And to me, that's one of the things that makes college football a better sport overall than a lot of the other sports that are on, is that the regular season, every game is super important. So I'm not for that. Philly with a wide open slam cuts the lead to 9. And the thing that bothers me the most about the expansion talk is that for 100 years, we had no playoff at all. Then we get a BCS system that gives us 1 versus 2 in a title game. We had that for 15, how long did we have that? 15 years, 1998 through 2013, 15 years. We had that for 15 years. 15 years was long enough to look back over the BCS period where we had a 1 versus 2 final game, figure out what worked about it, what didn't work about it, what do we need to change. Okay, we're going to go to a 4-team playoff. That started in 2014. Okay, we had that for 10 years. I would have liked to have had it a little longer, but 10 years is still enough time to look back and go, okay, we've had this 4-team playoff for 10 years. Here's what's working. Here's what's not working. Here are some possible fixes. Here's some things we can do. We're going to go to 12. Okay. So we get to the 12-team playoff. Before the first 12-team playoff was even played, they were floating ideas for a 16, a 20, and a 24. So the timeline is getting more and more condensed. 100 years of no playoff, 18 years of a BCS championship game that matched 1 versus 2, down to 10 years of a 4-team playoff. And now here we are 2 years into a 12-team playoff, and they want to change it again already. I don't think 2 years of a 12-team playoff is enough time to look at it and fairly assess, okay, here's what's working, here's what's not working. You know, I like what they did between the first year and the second year. They made minor tweaks and adjustments to what they were doing, but kept it at 12 teams. They should clearly do that going forward. But I don't understand the rush to scrap the 12 team after 2 years or 1 year or no years, and go to 16 or 20 or 24. I don't know. There comes a point where you're going to have so many teams that make the playoff where it's inevitable for it to diminish the regular season. And I don't want to go back. I'm not trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube. I don't want to go back to the BCS. I lived through the BCS. Nobody liked it. You got people today that pretend they loved the BCS because they hate the playoff. No, you didn't. There wasn't a soul that liked the BCS or thought it was fair, or nobody. The only good thing anybody ever said about the BCS was that, well, at least it's something. You know, for 100 years, we had nothing. You know, I don't even, how many of y'all remember? For 100 years, we'd played a regular season, and then the number 1 team in the country would play the number 9 team in the country in the Rose Bowl, and the number 2 team in the country would play the number 5 team in the country in the Sugar Bowl. So, yeah, and then we just vote. Oh, I think this team's better than that team, or the champion. And then you get the BCS 1 versus 2. So I'm not trying to go back to all of that. But at some point, you got to slow the train down. You know, everybody has problems with individual changes that have happened in college football over the last 10 years. But everybody has a problem with the number of changes to college football over the last 10 years. It's just one thing after another. Conference expansion, conference retraction. Pac-12 goes away. Big Ten goes to 18 teams. SEC goes to 16. ACC, for no discernible reason, goes to 17. Let's add teams to the playoffs. Let's add NIL money. Let's add portal. Okay, now let's add rev share. So now, in addition to NIL, which is just booster payments, basically, the schools now have to pay. It's not that they can pay. They actually have to pay. It's a federal law. They have to pay. It's just one change after another. You know, we get the Texas A&M game back after 15 years of not having it, but we lose the Notre Dame Southern Cal game because the playoff committee can't figure out what to do with strength of schedule. So Southern Cal's sitting there going, and I don't blame them, by the way, why should we play Southern Cal in the middle of October when we got to play Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, Penn State, Nebraska? Like, why? Why should we do that? I hate it, but I get it. So, you know, it's just one thing after another. So, I think they should just put a pause on it. Just put a pause. No more voluntary changes. Now, you never know what's going to happen with lawsuits. That's how we wound up with NIL and transfer portals and all that. But as far as these voluntary changes, like, oh, we got 12-team play, well, got to go to 16, got to go to 24. No, you don't. Going to 16 or 24 is not going to solve any of the problems that college football has right now. None. There's not a single problem that it solves. All you do by expanding the playoffs is you do two things by expanding the playoffs. Number one, you diminish the regular season. Number two, you kick the can further down the road in terms of which teams are crying at the end of the season. You don't eliminate the crying. During the BCS era, you had 1 versus 2. Guess what? Every single year, the fan base for Team 3 and Team 4 cried. Every year. Oh, we should be the 2. Not this team. We should be the 2. Okay, go to a 4-team playoff. That'll solve it. Now the 3 and the 4 won't be crying anymore. 4-team playoff. The 3 and the 4 will be in. Well, guess what happened? The 5 and the 6 cried. Alabama cried because they didn't make it. Florida State cried because they didn't make it. Okay, better go to 12. That'll fix it. Okay, well, fucking Alabama cried again 2 years ago. Notre Dame cries this year. Vandy, Vandy 10-2, they don't get in. They're crying. You go to 16. Do you honestly believe that if we go to a 16-team playoff, that the fan base of the 17th and 18th ranked teams is going to go, okay? No. If you go to a 24, do you really think that the 25th ranked team fan base is just going to go, we'll get them next year? No, they're going to cry all off season. They're going to blame Trump or Biden or ESPN or Kirk Herbstreit or the one-armed man or whatever the fuck. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. And it'll diminish the regular season. So I don't know why we're in such a hurry. We've only had 2 years of a 12-team playoff. Has it been perfect? No. But, breaking news, there is no perfect scenario. You can't get everything you want. Also, this just in to the Uncle Lou news desk. Life ain't fair, and neither is college football. Not every team in the country deserves an opportunity at the national title just because, they tried hard all year long. Sorry. You got to cut it off somewhere. Not every single team deserves to be in the playoffs. Nobody, they just don't. You weren't good enough, bud. Sorry. Do better. Don't lose 3 games. Don't lose 2 games, whatever it is. I mean, come on. The Knicks are up 11, opening up a can here at home against the Sixers. Sixers just turned it over again. We need the scoring to slow down, though, or y'all going to miss y'all's bet again. Well, y'all can't hit a bet to save y'all's life, can you? Karl Anthony Towns, strong to the hoop, no good. Wants a foul, doesn't get it. Philly for 3, no good. Clanks it off the front of the rim, but they get the rebound. Up and in, off the glass, and good. Cuts the lead to 9 now, 46-37. And that Bad Dog has to be loving this. He hates the Sixers. No G6 or Notre Dame join a conference or play in the group of 6. I agree. Look, I don't hate the committee. I think the committee has an impossible job to do. They just do. It does. No matter what no matter what sort of criteria we give them or whatever, use this, use that, strength of schedule, record, who'd you beat, who'd you lose to, ranked win. No matter what we give, at the end of the day, it's 13 people voting on who they think the best 12, 15, 25 teams are. That's an impossible task. I could take the next 13 people that comment and ask them to give me a top 13. None of them are going to be the same. None of them are going to be the same. I don't have a problem with the committee. I think they do a fairly good job given what they have to work with. And look, this is coming from a fan of a team, Georgia, that finished 5th multiple times in the final playoff ranking in the 4-team era. Go find the video where I cried and said Georgia should have been in. Go find it. You won't find it. You won't find it because I didn't do it. Because in every case where Georgia finished 5th, they had ample opportunity to finish 4th, 3rd, 2nd, or 1st, and it was Georgia's fault that they finished 5th. They didn't win the right games, or they didn't win enough games. They lost the SEC championship, so they don't lose the SEC championship then. And I'm on record, and that's why, one of the reasons why I've got zero patience for the Alabamas of the world, the Florida States of the world, the Notre Dames of the world. These fan bases that cry like a bunch of fucking 8-year-old girls because the committee didn't vote their team into the playoffs. Tough fucking titties, bud. Win more games. Win more games. Don't leave it up to the committee. So I don't have any patience for these people that are just on the outside looking in. As a Georgia fan, I was there multiple times. You won't find a second's worth of video of me saying Georgia should be in instead of that. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Georgia won back-to-back national titles. Went 15-0. The following year, they went 12-0. And lost in the SEC championship game and didn't make the 4-team playoff. If anybody ever had a reason to cry about not getting in, it was Georgia that year. I didn't say a fucking word. I said, don't lose the SEC championship game. Don't lose. Win, then you're in. It is a playoff game, basically, is what I said. The SEC championship game was a playoff game. Instead of crying about not getting into the playoffs, how about look about why you lost the fucking SEC championship game, which basically was a playoff. But Georgia went 14-1, and then 15-0, and then 12-0, and didn't get in the fucking playoffs that third year for a chance at a three-peat. And I came on video and I said they should have fucking beat Alabama. They should have won. All they had to do was win one game. It's not the committee's fault. It's not Joel Klatt's fault. I damn sure didn't blame Fox. You know whose fault it was? Georgia's. It was Georgia's fault. They lost. What the fuck? So I don't have any patience with these fan bases that cry because they finished 13 out of 12 or 5 out of 4 or 25 out of 24 when we go to 24 or 17 out of 16. Win more games. See, that's the problem. There's no accountability. Everything has to be somebody else's fault. Victim mentality. You know, everything gets done to me. It's not anything I did. It's what got done to me. Poor, pitiful me. You know, the committee don't like me. ESPN don't like me. The announcers on the game at noon don't like me. Win your game. I mean, goddamn, man. Shit dumb. Eventually, enough has to be enough, man. You blame everybody. You know, these people, they get up from the couch, they stump their fucking toe on the coffee table. They're yelling about Kirk Herbstreit. So let's go ahead and get some things out in the open right now. Indiana went 16-0 last year and won the national championship. Guess what? If they're 10-2 this year and the committee looks at them like they looked at Vandy last year and says, you're not getting in, tough fucking titties, bud. Tough fucking, 16-0, we should have it. No, you shouldn't. Win your games. If Ohio State goes 9-3, we had to play 5 top 10 teams. Well, beat some of them. Oh, what the fuck? If you go 9-3 and you don't get in, I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear shit. And that goes for any other team anywhere else too. Win your games, man. What happened to, is it the goal to win? I mean, oh no, we got to let everybody in, and now, oh, you know what? This fan base is mad. You know, Notre Dame fans are mad because they went 10-2. They lost to the only two good teams they played. Their second best win was against a service academy. They lost to two playoff teams, but they're mad they didn't get in. Oh, well, we got to give them a special fucking exception of, goddamn, like one of those stress cards they give you in boot camp now. If the instructor yells at you and hurts your feelings, you can pull out your stress card and they got to fucking leave you alone. You know, we got to give Notre Dame a special pay. We can't let that happen again. That's just not right. Did you see how down and out the Notre Dame man was because they didn't get in? We can't do that to them again. Yes, you can. Of course you can. You're telling me if Notre Dame loses this year to Miami and BYU, that they deserve to get in a 12-team playoff? No. Look at the rest of their schedule. The next 11 people to comment could form a college football team tomorrow and give Notre Dame a better challenge than 6 of the teams they're playing this year. If Notre Dame loses to Miami and BYU, I don't want to hear shit from them about the playoffs. Nothing. Not a word. Not a word. Dummies. Telling me what to do is frowned upon, does not need a comma, and in fact is grammatically incorrect as the primary clause to context of the secondary statement. Remove the comma. No, stop telling me what to do. Here, listen. Maybe this will help. Telling me what to do. Pause. It's frowned upon. Hope that helps. I agree with Grumpy Clemson fan. Why have none of these athletic conference commissioners been asked this? It's insanity. It's absolute insanity. Why does Notre Dame need a special fucking permission slip to get into the playoffs? That burns me up. And fucking Petiti and Sankey and whatever deadbeats are running the ACC and the Big 12 ought to be forced to answer this question. Why did y'all sign off on that? Why? For what good reason? Why are we giving special treatment to a college football program who hasn't won a natty since the late 1900s? Fucking Georgia Tech, Washington, and Colorado have more recent national titles than Notre Dame. Why are we kowtowing to fucking Notre Dame? Why? Why? I mean, that don't make no sense in that.
Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!
Yeah, you better listen to that kid, too. I'll send that kid over to your house, whip your ass. Stop mistreating me. Oops. Yeah, put the thing back on. There you go. Sorry. Nick's up 16 now. 3.5 minutes to go. Now up 18, 57-39. Big lead for the Knicks here. They're up 18. What's the total points we're looking at here? 9 plus 7 is 6. They're at 96 points right now. I don't like that. Y'all's under is looking like complete dog shit. Y'all's under. I don't know why I keep betting on y'all's comment section poll. I should bet the opposite every time. 7 plus 1 is 8. They're at 98 points now. What do y'all have? Under 109? They need 11 more points to tie it. Jesus. And still 3 minutes to go. UConn beat the ACC champs last year. I'd hardly call that dog shit. Yeah, I know you told me. Yeah, well, everybody says to go the opposite, but I don't know. I hate myself and I hate money, so I keep betting on the comment section poll. Jalen Brunson with a running jumper from the free throw line. scored again. They're at whatever that is now. Is that 101 points they're at now? We're 8 points away from a push, 9 points away from a loss. And another 3-point play coming up for Philly after this an and one here. So yeah, 103 points now. The under is cooked. Good thing I took. What did I bet? I think I only did $50 on y'all's bet because I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid. Yeah, $50 on y'all's bet, $100 on my bet. So I bet the Knicks -4 first half. So once again, listen. And look, at halftime, I'm about to let y'all do another one. That's how dumb I am. At halftime, I'm about to let y'all do it again. That's how absolutely dumb I am. I ain't got enough sense coming out of the rain, do I? When it comes to this comment section bet thing, I just keep doing it over and over again. What is it? The definition of insanity or whatever? Doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. I keep putting the polls up. Y'all keep voting. I keep putting a bet in on the results of the poll. Y'all keep being wrong and I keep losing. But yet I continue to do it over and over. Ah, dang. Knicks just hit another 3. They're at 107 points now. Was that Jimmy Fallon? Two minutes to go in the first half. Knicks up huge. Embiid clanks a jumper from the free throw line. Knicks with a rebound. Brunson for 3, but there was a whistle before the shot. We're gonna the Braves at plus money against the Mariners tonight sounds like a smart move. Might have to take the Braves tonight. The Knicks missed the free throw, ugly free throw. Clanked it off the front of the rim in that. I like the Spurs to cover too. The Spurs, well, they said Anthony Edwards is playing. So if he has a big game, he's capable of keeping it respectable. I don't think the Timberwolves will win. Anthony Edwards was hurt and didn't play in the last couple of games against the Nuggets, but they say he's playing today. I wonder if that's moved the line any. Let's look. Spurs are favored by 10 at home. Brunson, count it, 65-47. Now back to an 18-point lead. That's it for the under, by the way. Y'all just officially lost your under. Top of the key, drains it. 49-65. Knicks up 16, coming up on a minute to go in the first half and that. Louis, you're an Ant-Man fan. He played basketball at Georgia. I'm not a Georgia basketball fan. Anthony Edwards is a fun basketball player to watch, not because he went to Georgia. I mean, Jalen Brunson's fun to watch, too. I don't have no idea where he went. Does anybody know? Where'd Jalen Brunson go to college? Anyway, I think, didn't Anthony Edwards play at Georgia during the COVID year, and that was it, or something like that? I don't watch Georgia basketball. Well, if I'm betting on, he went to Villanova? Okay. If I'm betting on Georgia basketball, I'll watch the game. But I'm not a Georgia basketball fan. I'm only a Georgia football fan. I'm not a University of Georgia fan. I didn't go to the University of Georgia. The University of Georgia's never done anything for me. I don't owe the University of Georgia anything. They don't owe me anything. I just grew up being a college football fan, and because I live in Augusta, Georgia, I became a Georgia fan when Georgia was fucking terrible in the 90s. So I don't want to hear no bandwagon shit from anybody. I was busy rooting for Georgia when they were losing games with Jim Donnan and Ray Goff. So I became a Georgia fan when it wasn't cool to be one. But I'm a Georgia football fan. $70-51 to score now. I think it'll be cool to go to SEC Media Days and do a live show there. Are you doing that? Is Blue Cane going to be a lottery pick? Is that a joke? Anthony Edwards was at UJ in 2019. Okay. You know how they used to let players come straight out of high school to go to the NBA? Should they go back to that and do it in football if the player is good enough? Football, no. Football, no. Basketball, look, if you're a fan of any college sport at all, then I would think you would want the professional league of that sport to do what the NFL did. Like, college football would take a massive hit. Wow. The Knicks drain a 3 at the end of the second quarter. Brunson again. With football, I think it's a safety issue. I think it's the NFL is also the only professional sports league in the United States that doesn't have any type of developmental league. You know, baseball has the minor leagues. Basketball has the D League. Hockey has minor leagues. There is no now. There's the UFL and whatever else, but that's not officially an NFL developmental league. It's basically players that just aren't good enough to play in the NFL. I don't know if football players were allowed to go pro straight out of high school. I really don't know how many would even get drafted. You know, a Jeremiah Smith doesn't come along all that often. Offensive linemen in particular. I don't know that there's ever been an offensive lineman that would have got drafted out of high school. I mean, in a lot of cases, these kids' bodies are still growing and develop. I mean, a big part of what goes on in college with development is the nutrition programs, the weight management, and the strength and conditioning. You know, an offensive tackle might show up at Georgia or Ohio State or whatever weighing 280 pounds. Well, that ain't enough, Jack. We need you to weigh 320, and here's exactly what you need to eat to get there without gaining a bunch of body fat. And, you know, part of what happens at the college level is preparing these kids' bodies for what it would eventually take to play, not only at the college level, but in the NFL level. So I don't see that going away anytime soon for college football, and I hope it never goes away. Because I think it would be a big hit to college football if they started drafting high school players. And I think it would water down the NFL too. I can't imagine there are more than maybe 1 or 2 players a year coming out of high school that the NFL would even consider for a second drafting. Right? Think about these teams that recruit at the top of the top level. Take Georgia. Georgia's put 25 offensive linemen in the NFL in the last 15. I don't know what the number is. A ton. You know how many true freshmen have started on the offensive line at Georgia? A couple. A couple. Not very many. Not very many. And Georgia gets elite offensive linemen almost every year out of high school. Other teams do too. So I can't, like Ohio State. There's a Buck Rational. You're in here, and you're a pretty even keeled. You seem to be pretty rational, like your name suggests. I see you on Twitter too. In a given year, how many true freshmen are starting on the offensive line at Ohio State? It's got to be none most years. Maybe one starts later due to injury or something, or the Mawawaga, the kid at Miami, he started as a freshman. Well, he's the exception. That Mawawaga from Miami. There are any Miami fans in here? They were earlier. He started as a freshman, didn't he, Mawawaga? But Georgia's had him too. What was the offensive tackle Georgia had in 2017? I think that started as a freshman. What was his name? He's an all-pro in the NFL now. What was that? What was his name? He started 3 years straight. Not Isaiah Wilson. No. Fuck. Who am I thinking of? Isaiah Wilson was good too, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. You want me to do it, buddy? What about this channel or this show makes you think that I would ever get credentialed to do any type of professional event? It would never happen. And that's not my goal. Andrew Thomas, thank you. That's who I'm thinking of. I was thinking of Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas is the only... Isaiah Wilson was good, but he had a lot of baby fat. He wasn't done growing when he showed up. Andrew Thomas is the only offensive lineman I can think of in my lifetime that played at Georgia that could have potentially... He wouldn't have started in the NFL, but he maybe, if you were allowed to draft high school graduates, maybe the NFL drafts Andrew Thomas. Maybe. That's the only one I could think of. And Georgia's had a list of NFL offensive linemen a mile long in the last 10 years. He's the only one I could think of that would have started but to take Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis wouldn't have got drafted out of high school. Nobody wanted him. Can y'all believe that? Nobody wanted Jordan Davis out of high school. Can y'all believe that? Nobody wanted him. 3-star. And he's one of the best defensive linemen in Georgia history. Jalen Carter didn't start till his 3rd year at Georgia. Fucking Jalen Carter. The linemen in particular, very few, even if the NFL were to open it up, very few offensive or defensive linemen in my lifetime would have ever even been given a shot by the NFL out of high school. Very few. Quarterbacks, none. I don't think there's a single quarterback ever out of high school that the NFL would have drafted. Not a single one. I don't think. Maybe a couple of running backs, maybe a couple of wide receivers. Oh, defensive back is another one. There's a 0% chance the NFL would ever draft a defensive back out of high school. You really have no idea how good these DBs are, because in high school, you're just on a week-to-week basis in high school, even if you're in these bigger leagues, IMG Academy, whatever, you're not playing offenses week in and week out with college or NFL wide receiver talent. You're just not. And that's a hard position to gauge from high school even to college. So I really can't think of maybe a couple of running backs that you just looked at and you went, they've already got an NFL body. Maybe a running back comes out of high school, he's 6'2". Derrick Henry. I don't remember the details of Derrick Henry's recruitment exactly. I don't know if he was the number 1 running back, or I have no idea, but maybe coming out of high school, he was 6'2", 220 or something. And the NFL goes, okay, his body can withstand it. We'll take a chance and draft him out of high school. Maybe somebody like that. Even if they opened it up like that for the NFL, I don't know that very many players would get drafted out of high school. Well, here's the other thing. I'm not a recruiting guru at all. Even when high school recruiting was the most important thing in all of college football, which it was for a long time, and NIL has changed that, and the portal has changed that. It's still important, but it's not. It's not like it. Recruiting used to be 95% of what mattered. Accumulate as much talent as you can. That's how Alabama won all the natties. Georgia was doing the same thing under Kirby. Ohio State was that team in the Big Ten. Ohio State had twice the talent as any other team in the Big Ten for a long time. And NIL and portal has changed a lot of that now. But still, Jeremiah Smith, maybe. And I don't follow recruiting that much. And I definitely don't now. But Jeremiah Smith is the only player in recent memory that I can think of off the top of my head that the NFL might have went, you know what, he can probably play now. I really can't think of anybody else. That's not to say there aren't other players out there, but from somebody who doesn't really follow the ins and outs of recruiting, to like, the only name that pops in my head is Jeremiah Smith. Maybe. All right, let's see what the second half line is here so y'all can cost me some more money in that. The Knicks are up 23 at halftime. Wow. The over-under in the second half is 104 points. Let's give y'all another shot at the over-under. All right, over-under 104 points in the second half. Oh, Fournette, maybe? Yeah. I remember seeing pictures of Fournette as a true freshman and thinking he was 28 years old. He looked like he was 28 years old as a freshman. Leonard Fournette did. He looked like Unc when he was 18. Y'all ever seen any pictures of Leonard Fournette when he was at LSU? Let's see if we can find one. Look at Look at this motherfucker. Look at this guy. Oh, hold on. There you go. That guy's 19. Come on, man. This is like in Little League when somebody would fake the birth certificate. Come on, man. You telling me this person right here is 19 years old? Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is a 19-year-old person? Come on, man. This guy's 28. Yeah, the NFL maybe would have drafted somebody like that. Dang. Oh, shit. Oh, hold on. The camera froze up. Let me, yeah, we got to fix this now. Hold on. See if we can get this fixed. All right. I had to actually had to unplug it. Damn camera locked up. It's fixed now, right? Yeah, telling me what to do is still frowned upon. Yeah, fix that too. All right, sorry about that. I had to fix that. Leonard Fournette started balling at age 8. Oh, man. That guy wasn't 19. That guy was 28 playing college football, man. What's going on? He was on the Chris Winkie plan. Happy 60 plus days of the not a war, Iran war that will, quote, be over very soon. Hope everyone is enjoying the gas prices and the gas lighting. I tell you, man, I was checking some plane ticket prices today for July. Not good. Not good. Not good. Had that crayon birth certificate. Yeah. That was a full grown man as a true freshman at LSU. He never did much in the NFL, though, did he? Did he get hurt or something? I don't remember much about him in the NFL. I know he was good in college. LSU was fun to watch, but I don't pay attention to the NFL that much, so maybe I'm way off, and he was great in the NFL, but I don't I don't remember much about him in the NFL. Braves just started. Don't tell me that. I was supposed to bet on them. Yeah, I'm taking the Braves. Okay, yeah, it hadn't started yet. I got a bet in. I just put the bet in. So it hadn't started yet. About to start. Braves game is about to start. Yeah, we're taking the Braves at plus 124. They're actually an underdog on the road against Seattle. I'm going to roll the dice and take the Bravos, though. Of course, the Bravos is Mexican for Braves. For those of you who don't know. All right, let's close the poll before the second half starts. All right, overwhelming. The poll is overwhelmingly in favor of over 104. All right, second half underway. Huge lead for the Knicks at halftime, 74-51. They're up 23 points. They've got the ball to start here. Down low and out of bounds off of New York. It's going to be Philly's ball. Maybe the 76ers should hire Matt Patricia. Get that defense fixed. Turnover. Knicks with the ball. Fast break. Up and in. Just took the Braves plus 124, trying to get my first half money back that you woozies made me bet. I lost the over-under in the first half, but I hit the Knicks -4. And I bet the Braves, too, at plus 124. So hopefully they can win in Seattle. Knicks with the ball up 24. Blowout here in game one of the second round between Philadelphia and New York. Brunson with the ball, dribble, dishes it, stolen. Philly with a 2-on-1. No good. Philly blew it. Can't even score on a 2-on-1 fast break. They're down bad. Down real bad. And now the Knicks throw it out of bounds. This is some sloppy basketball. Y'all should have bet the under. Octavian, Florida sucks like they did last year. Oh, no. Don't tell Octavian. Don't get Octavian going. Don't get him going. Embiid with the ball on the baseline. Now he turns it over. It's been 3 or 4 turnovers already. Not looking good for the over. There's a slam from the Knicks to make it 78-53. 1-0 Braves already. Is that right? Yeah, 1-0 Braves in the top of the first. No outs. Must have been a home run. Must have been a home run by somebody. Can't wait for the Braves Dodgers series. Lou, do you have any comment regarding the generational ass whipping the Knickerbockers gave the Atlanta Hawks in Game 6? Yeah, I talked about it earlier. I'm not some sort of basketball guru who watches a ton of NBA, but I do watch a lot of the playoffs, and I don't remember ever seeing a more embarrassing beatdown than what the Knicks gave the Hawks. And the fact that it was a home game for Atlanta just makes it even worse. But at one point, they were up 60-something points in that game. At one point, they had like a 45-4 run. I was watching that game, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Y'all keep hating on UF. We love it. If you love people hating on Florida, then you must have really loved the last 18 years, because they've been absolute dog shit for 18 years in a row, and everyone has been laughing and hating on them. So you must have been extremely happy over the last 18 years if you love people hating on Florida. Knicks for 3, and it's good. They're up 27. Damn. They're up 27. I am not going to stay on for the Timberwolves game. Just to let everyone know, that game has just started. No score between the Timberwolves and the Spurs, and I did not bet that game. So I will either have to live bet it or wait till halftime. The Spurs now up 2-0. Let's put that game on the other TV though. At least keep an eye on it. I expect the Spurs to win easily at home in Game 1. It looks like the reports are that Anthony Edwards is going to play. Which is a boost for Minnesota, but I don't know that it's enough of one to make that much of a difference in terms of who wins the game. The Spurs were about a 10-point favorite at tip-off. And the game is now tied at 2. I'll be putting it on here on the second TV here in a second. Maybe if the Timberwolves keep it close for a while, the live line will drop down to 5 or 6 points and we can get the Spurs at a discount. Let's see, what channel is this thing on? NBC Sports Net. If anybody wants to watch along with the Spurs, it's on NBC Sports Network. The Knicks game is on regular NBC. 2-2, Spurs with the ball. And do I see Anthony Edwards out there? I do not. I don't see Anthony Edwards. Somebody in the chat said he was playing. I don't see him on the floor. And you would think if he was playing, he'd be in the game. The game just started. I'm in the minority here, but Mullen had a few moments. Wemby should always be on national TV. I don't see. Let me. The chat said that earlier that he was playing today. He was listed as doubtful. But, of course, the chat, you already know. I don't. Yeah, I don't see Anthony Edwards out there. I don't see Anthony Edwards out there. The chat said he was playing. Twitter said he was cleared to play. I don't see him out here. Here's something on Twitter that says Anthony Edwards is playing tonight, but he will be coming off the bench. He's on a limited minutes game plan. So he didn't start the game, but they're saying that he will play some. I'll believe that when I see it. Spurs up 5-4. They were a 10-point favorite at tip-off. Let's see what that is at now. They've just taken the lead 6-5. Yeah, still a 10-point line. Spurs by 10.5 is the live line. San Antonio was winning it all. I put a futures bet in on San Antonio to win it all at plus 550 or plus 500. I do think the Thunder is the best team, and that's likely what we'll see in the Western Conference Finals, the Thunder versus the Spurs. But I think whoever wins that series between the Thunder and the Spurs will win it all. What are your thoughts on college football players making generational wealth? I don't have a problem with college football players being paid. I think we need some regulations put in place similar to every other sport on earth that pays players. Like, I don't have a problem with NFL players being paid, but I also don't have a problem with the salary cap. I mean, there's a reason these professional leagues have all moved to salary cap systems. Spurs score again. 8-6. They're up a couple of points now. We'll change this to the Spurs score, or we can get them both on there. There you go. That way you can see both. It's gonna be tricky for college football to rein in the spending, because for 150 years, college football teams and athletic departments in general across the country have been supported financially by boosters, right? You've got graduates of the school or businesses in the state or whatever that have been financially supporting these schools through booster donations and everything. You know, it used to be, hey, we need you to send us a bunch of money so we can build a new indoor practice facility. You know, now it's, hey, send us a bunch of money so we can pay the players. That's something that professional leagues have never had to address. Like, there is no Dallas Cowboys booster that's going to pay Patrick Mahomes $100 million a year to come play for the Cowboys. Like, that's not a thing in professional sports. I don't know. It would be easy to cap what the schools themselves pay the players, and in fact, it is capped. You know, the rev share agreement that was reached last offseason. Every school is required to dole out about $21 million a year to its student athletes, but they can't dole out more than that. And so every school right now is on equal footing in terms of what the schools themselves can directly pay players. And that's the same model that is used in the NFL and Major League Baseball and in the NBA. The problem is in college sports, beyond direct payments that the players get from whoever it is they're playing for, there's this booster system in place that's been in place in college sports for over 100 years that you can't just turn off. And I don't know how they ever, or if they ever, get to a point where that is somehow managed or regulated. Universities have made so much money off these student athletes. The athletes deserve a piece of the pie. I agree with that. The problem is the universities are not the ones paying the money right now. The universities are paying $20 million total to every athlete they have across every sport. They are paying $21 million total, not $21 million per player, not $21 million to the football team. They're paying $21 million total across all the sports they have. The rest of the money is coming from private boosters and companies within the state. And I don't know how you regulate that or turn it off. I mean, you wouldn't argue that a private booster owes that money to the football player, would you? I understand the argument of the schools owing the players money. Pay for play. I understand the argument that, look, the schools are making money off the backs of these players. They need to take some of the profits, a certain percentage of the profits that they're getting, and pay those back to the players. I'm totally on board with that. But you're not making the argument that me as a fan somehow owes money to Gunnar Stockton, are you? You're not making that argument, are you? Because I don't owe Gunnar Stockton a dime. Or Jeremiah Smith, or Keelan Russell, or Malachi Toney, or who I don't owe any of those people a dime. The schools do. And the schools have now been forced to pay $21 million a year. But the boosters don't owe them any money. The boosters are voluntarily giving them money. And, you know, depending on the school, that pie of money available is bigger and smaller at the different schools that you look at. And that's the problem that college football is going to have to tackle, is how do they even that out? And I don't know how they do that. As long as it's legal, and it is, for anybody off the street to pay a college football player whatever amount of money they want, I don't know how you manage that. Unless, and this is the argument I've been making for years, the end of the road, where I don't know how far we have to travel to get to the end of the road, but the end of the road with all of this stuff is collective bargaining. That's there. I don't know of and haven't been told of any other way to regulate what's going on in college sports today that doesn't involve or doesn't end in collective bargaining. And in order to collective bargain, the schools are going to have to make the players employees. Once the schools make the players employees, then Congress can give them the same antitrust exemption that the NFL gets, that Major League Baseball gets, that the NHL gets, that the NBA gets. But the reason that the NCAA, the schools, and the conferences keep losing all of these financial lawsuits in court is because the court is looking at them and going, well, if they're not employees of yours, you can't tell them what money they can and can't make. You can't put a cap on what they can make. They're not employees. The NCAA, the conferences, and the schools don't want to make them employees, because if you make them employees, they're going to get collective bargaining. And through collective bargaining, they're going to get things like a pension, a retirement plan, lifelong health insurance, all of that stuff that these NBA players are getting, that the NFL players are getting, that the Major League Baseball players are getting. And, you know, the NCAA and the schools have spent the last 150 years not trying to do that, or trying to not do that. And they don't want to give that up. But short of doing that, I don't know how you ever stop this seemingly never-ending flow of booster money directly to players, which obviously then influences where they go, who they play for, all those kinds of things. Spurs now up 14-8 over Minnesota, a 6-point lead coming up on 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Knicks are up 31, 96-65. You can only cap what schools can pay. You'll never be able to cap what a player makes for being on a billboard or for being on a commercial or a shoe deal, etc. Right. But what percentage of these college football players that are getting NIL money are doing that? Less than 1%. It's less than 1%. That's what NIL is supposed to be. That's not what NIL actually is. NIL is supposed to be Gunnar Stockton can sign an advertising deal with Chick-fil-A and appear in a bunch of Chick-fil-A commercials and get paid for being in Chick-fil-A commercials. That's what NIL is and is supposed to be. What NIL has become is Uncle Lou is a billionaire oil man in Texas and pays Brendan Sorsby $10 million to come to Texas Tech. That, like, there is no NIL deal there. There's no name, image, likeness attached to that. It's just, here's $10 million, go play football for this school. That's what it's become. There are very few actual NIL deals. Knicks up 28 now with the ball. Jalen Brunson off the glass, no good. Out of bounds, off Philadelphia. The Knicks will keep the ball. The Timberwolves have come back, cut the lead to 3, 17-14. Spurs with the ball. Three-pointer, no good. Anthony Edwards is in the game now for the T-Wolves. He didn't start, but he's in the game now. And the Wolves miss an easy layup. Could have cut it to 1. And that's going to be a foul on Minnesota. They had a committee that was supposed to check the validity of the deals, and that got knocked down real fast. Yeah. There's a clearinghouse. Every NIL deal is supposed to be sent to this private company that reviews the NIL deal. And if the NIL deal doesn't fit standard market rates, it's supposed to be declined and turned down, but that obviously is not happening. Reggie Bush would have made like $10 million an hour back in the day. Yeah, a handful of Reggie Bush, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel. There's been a handful of athletes that would have raked it in through legitimate NIL deals. I do like the creativity the NCAA showed. Now we'll see if this ends up working or sticking, but they turned off the spring transfer window. You're not allowed to transfer anymore after spring. They had a spring portal window for a couple of years. So you could transfer in January, or you could go through spring practice, and if you were unhappy, you then could transfer after spring practice. They did away with that portal window after spring practice. Well, you had a couple of cases last year of guys who wanted to transfer anyway after spring practice. There's a famous one, a kid transferred from Wisconsin to Miami. Well, there was no spring portal window, but so instead of transferring or entering his name into portal and all that, he just unenrolled from Wisconsin. He just said, "I'm just not going to be a student here anymore." He just unenrolled. Magically showed up in Miami a week later, and what do you know? Mario Cristobal in Miami magically had a spot for him and a scholarship for him. And we're supposed to believe that was just all a coincidence. Well, no, we all know what really happened there. But there was no mechanism in place at the time to do anything about it. And you can't punish the players. That's been struck down in every single court case that's come about. So the NCAA said, okay, that's fine. Here's what we're going to do. If you accept a player outside of the agreed upon portal window, which is in January and December, if you accept a transfer player in April or May or June, we can't stop him from going there and we can't stop him from playing. But your coach is going to be suspended for half the season and is going to be fined, what is it, 10% of the athletic budget, which is a huge fucking fine. We'll see, number one, does that stop it? Number two, if it doesn't stop it and a school tries to do that, does the NCAA follow through on that? Because the NCAA can suspend your head coach. The NCAA can fine you. That they can do. They can suspend a coach. They can fine a school. That they can do. They can't prevent the player from transferring and playing, but they can suspend your head coach for half the year. They can fine your school. I think it's 20% actually of the football budget, which would be an astronomical fine. So we're over with spring practice now. I haven't heard of a kid unenrolling from somewhere and showing up somewhere else yet. But if it happens, I'll be curious to see if the NCAA tries to enforce that rule. And if they do, what comes of it. Bryce Underwear. Bryce Underwear better get a whole lot better in the next 3 months, or Michigan's going to be swimming upstream this season. Control the schools, not the players. Yeah, that's the angle they're having to take now because they're just losing every court case involving the players themselves. Let's check on the Bravos. Bravos still up 1-0 on the road against the Mariners. Bottom of the second inning, Seattle up to bat with one out and a runner on first. So we'll keep an eye on that one. See if we can hit that Braves bet. I was thinking Texas Tech was going to try to get Dylan Raiola. Where'd he land at? Is it he's at Oregon. Yeah. Dylan Raiola, man. He got what he deserved. Dylan Raiola. The guy went to 4 different high schools, moved to Georgia his senior year of high school because he was committed to Georgia, moved 30 minutes from Athens to play his senior year of high school so he could go to every Georgia game and be there all the time, which he did. And then 1 week before signing day, he changed his mind, goes to Nebraska. Now, after 2 years, he's out at Nebraska. He looks over at Oregon. He goes, Oregon's really good, and Dante Moore is probably going to the NFL. Let me transfer there. He transfers to Oregon, and then Dante Moore goes, I decided I'm coming back. So now Dylan Raiola has to ride the bench for a year as a third-year guy who's already started for 2 whole seasons at Nebraska. Now he's got to go sit the bench at Oregon. He kind of got what he deserved there. He's been flip-flopping around the country from the time he was in 9th grade. He's a good example of somebody that I'd be willing to bet's not going to make it in the NFL because he's never been developed anywhere. He's never stuck around anywhere for more than a year or two to get developed. He's had to learn 6 different offenses since he was in 9th grade. left to go be a backup at Oregon. Yeah, but he committed to Oregon when he thought Dante Moore was going pro. He committed to Oregon thinking he was going to be the guy at Oregon. And then Dante Moore, after Dylan Raiola had signed with Oregon and the portal window was closed, Dante Moore said, you know what? I'm going to come back for one more year. I loved it. I fucking loved it. Hey, Lou, have you been well? I've been great. Veggie boys, hope y'all have been good too. Was out of town last week. Took me a little vacation. Got home real late Saturday night. I didn't get home Saturday night till after midnight. And then, of course, boy, this made me so mad. Y'all might have heard me talk about this over the last few weeks. It has not rained here, Augusta, where I live. It has not rained here. It went 60 days straight without rain in spring. Spring is the rainy season here. It rains half the days just automatically. You don't even have to look at the weather. It's like a 50% chance of rain every day. You get one of those afternoon thunderstorms, whatever, come in. We went the entire month of March and April with zero measurable rain. None. Not a drop. I got a flight scheduled out of Augusta, a 3:00 flight out of Augusta to Atlanta. It's an hour flight. You leave Augusta at 3, you get to Atlanta at 4. My flight out of Atlanta was at 5, so I had a 1-hour layover in Atlanta, flight to Vegas. I get up last Tuesday morning. My flight was at 3 in the afternoon. I get up last Tuesday morning. It's fucking raining. So right away, I pull up the Delta app. Your flight out of Augusta is delayed. Well, I don't have time for a delay out of Augusta, because if my flight out of Augusta is delayed to Atlanta, then I'm going to miss my flight in Atlanta to Vegas. So I go down to the airport 3 hours early. I get there at noon. There's a flight that was supposed to leave out of Augusta at 11:20. I get to the airport at noon. My flight's at 3. It's been delayed till 4:30. No way I'm going to make my connection in Atlanta if I have to wait on that 4:30 flight. So I go up to the desk and I tell them what's going on. And they say, well, we actually have a flight that was supposed to leave at 11 this morning that's been delayed till 1:30, and there's a seat on it. We can just put you on that 11 a.m. flight that's now leaving at 1:30. Then you'll get to Atlanta at 2:30, which is still plenty of time to catch your 5:00 flight out of Atlanta to Vegas. I said, hey, perfect. Say less, fam. And so that's what they did. And that's what they did. So I get on that 11 a.m. flight out of Augusta, which didn't leave till 1:30. I get to Atlanta at 2:30, 2.5 hours before my 5:00 flight. Guess what happens 15 minutes after I land in Atlanta? My 5:00 flight gets delayed to 7:30. So it turns out I never even had to change any of my flights. I could have took the 3:00 flight out of Augusta, which didn't leave till 5:30, which would have got me, or didn't leave till 4:30, which would have got me to Atlanta at 5:30. And I could have caught my 5:00 flight that wasn't leaving till 7:30. Instead, I ended up trying to do the right thing. I get on the earlier flight. I land in Atlanta at 2:30. My flight is delayed till 7. I had to sit in the Atlanta airport for 4.5 hours like an asshole. So I was supposed to get to Vegas at 7 p.m. Vegas time. I didn't land until 10:45, 11 o'clock Vegas time. Insanity. Took me, I basically traveled for 12 hours Tuesday. I left my house at 11:30 in the morning. I didn't get to Vegas till 10 or 11 Vegas time, which is 2 in the morning. So that's 14 hours. I traveled 14 hours it took me because of all the damn delays. Yeah, we needed the rain. It's just, what are the odds it doesn't rain for 60 days and then I have a flight and it rains that day in all of Georgia? It was raining in Atlanta. It was raining in Augusta. So flights were delayed coming and going from both places. It totally screwed me. Did I fly Spirit? No, it's funny you asked that, though. I only fly Delta. But Spirit shut down Saturday. I was flying out of Vegas Saturday. The Vegas airport was filled with Spirit people who had flown to Vegas on Spirit, but now had no way to fly home. And they were having to, it was a mess. It was a mess for those Spirit people. It was an absolute mess. But you know what? It wasn't a surprise that Spirit was going to shut down on that day. Like, they should have, first of all, I would never fly Spirit. But if for some reason I had booked a Spirit flight, and I'm watching the news and there's like, yeah, there's a pretty good chance Spirit's going out of business Friday night. And I'm supposed to fly on Spirit from like Thursday to Sunday, and there's a chance my Sunday flight won't exist because Spirit's going out of business. I would have handled that before I ever left. I would have changed. People took a risk. They flew Spirit knowing it was probably going to shut down, and then they get stranded wherever they're at, and there's Spirit Airlines no longer exists. Your return flight is fucking in the ether. It's gone. So there was a lot of people down bad at the airport with no way home. Yeah, Spirit's terrible. I don't see how they stayed in business as long as they did. You couldn't have paid me enough money to fly Spirit Airlines. I'm sorry. You just couldn't. Braves still up 1-0 over the Mariners. Top of the third. Atlanta up to bat. No outs. 1-0. They're beating the Mariners. I would never fly Frontier either. Southwest is the closest thing to a discount airline that, look, I'm all for saving money, believe me. And when I go to the grocery store, I'll buy store. There's certain things I'll buy store brand, things like that. I'm all for saving money. But there are certain things in life where the cheapest bare boned thing is not a good idea. And flying is one of those. I don't think looking for the cheapest, stripped down, most bare bones airline is a good idea. Minnesota has a 6-point lead on the Spurs, y'all. Now might be a good time to bet the Spurs. And they're in the second quarter. And Anthony Edwards is playing, but playing sparingly. Sparingly in that. The Spurs are down 6, but they are still a 4.5-point favorite in the game. I am thinking about taking that one. Spurs with a rebound after a missed jumper. Wemby with the ball. Ditches it out. Back into the lane and slammed. 4-point lead now for the Wolves. Spurs have cut it to a 1-point lead now, 29-28. T-Wolves have the ball. Yeah, Southwest was great. Especially they had the 2 check bags for free, but they did away with all that now. Um, you no longer get free check bags with Southwest Airlines. That used to be a big deal, but they did away with that. I've never flown Southwest. I would though. I don't. They're not on like my list of I'm not flying. Like Spirit and Frontier. No, JetBlue. No. But I would fly Southwest. And if your home airport had Southwest and they had the free baggage deal, like that was a good deal. But they no longer have that. All right, I'm going to take the Spurs minus 2.5 in the first half. I'm gonna count on the Spurs coming back here in the second quarter. They're down one right now with 8:38 to go, but they're at the free throw line. I just live bet Spurs minus 2.5 for the first half. I really don't think there's any such thing as the best airport. I just think there are some airports that are less bad than others. I don't. There are no good airports. I don't think. None that I've ever been to. Southwest does free carry-ons. Yeah, everybody does that. That I've ever flown. Delta, American. You pay for your check bag. You get 2 carry-on items, a personal item and a carry-on. So like a small suitcase. Like when I fly, I take one big suitcase. That's my checked bag. And like with Delta, that's a $35 charge each way. So like when I fly from Augusta to Atlanta to Vegas, I pay $35 to check my bag from Augusta to Vegas, and then I pay another $35 from Vegas back to Augusta. But you get 2 carry-on items. So I have my big suitcase. I check that, pay the money. Then I have a smaller suitcase on wheels, and then I take a book bag. So the small suitcase, I put it up in the overhead storage bin, and the book bag I slide under the seat in front of me. But I don't have to pay for the book bag or the small suitcase, just the one checked bag. Spurs drain a 3 and have taken a 3-point lead. We need them to keep it up here in the second quarter. We've got Spurs first half minus 2.5. Uncle Flew. If you fly a lot. I fly on average lately 2 or 3 times a year. I have flown 4 or 5 times in a year before, but usually 2 or 3 times. Amex Gold gives free check bag. I don't have an Amex. I use mostly Capital One and Credit One for my credit cards. I have a Caesars credit card too, but I only have that for casino benefits they give you for having their Caesars card. But I use mostly Capital One and Credit One. Did we take the over or the under in the Knicks game for the second half? Didn't we take the over? I think we're going to hit the over if we took the over. What did we take? Over 104 points in the second half. Yeah, we're going to hit that. Y'all are going to hit y'all's over. It is over, right? Yeah, over 104. There's still 9 minutes to go, and they're almost at 200 points already total. We only need, what do we need, 220? Well, what they score in the first half total? Their first half total was, let's see, 37, 84, 99. They scored 125 points, so we need that 125 plus 104. So we need 229 points total. We need 229 points total, and they're on pace for 234. So the over is looking good right now for y'all's second half. Pick. Commercial break in the Spurs game. Let's check on the Braves. Braves still up 1-0. Mariners coming to bat now in the bottom of the third. Give me a horns up. Can't do that, bud. Can't do that for you. Knicks for 3, no good. Rebounded by Philly. 115 to 83 to score. 8 minutes to go in the game. I want to see Texas beat Georgia so bad. Well, it won't happen this year unless it's the SEC title game or a playoff. They, of course, don't play in the regular season this year. New York just turned it over. Texas is tied with Georgia all time, so not worried. Foul in the Knicks game now. Paylou. Yeah, we got to hit some of these bets. Missed that baseball bet earlier. Hopefully the Braves will hit. We did hit one bet on the first half of this Knicks game. We hit one bet, missed the other. I feel good about this Spurs bet too. Spurs first half -2.5. Hopefully they can pull away here in the second half of the second quarter. They're up 3 right now with like 8 minutes to go. Commercial break in that one. We need some scoring in the Knicks game though. We need to keep the scoring at a high level in this Knicks game. Knicks for 3, be good. Oh, he airballed it. If you airball a 3-pointer in the playoffs, you should be fired on the spot. Sixers off the glass and in. What has Georgia down since 2022? Well, they've won the SEC twice, made the playoffs twice. That's 2 things you haven't done. They've also beat Texas 3 times since then. I don't know how big of an accomplishment that actually is, but they have, of course, beat Texas 3 times since then. Texas is trying to figure out how to get back to the Big 12 so they can win the conference again. Can't do it in the SEC for whatever reason. Four-point lead for the Spurs now, and they're going to be inbounding the ball. Come on, Spurs. Wemby not in the game right now for the Spurs, taking a break. Alley-oop, no good, but he was fouled. Spurs will be shooting too. What's up, Mio? How you doing, buddy? I'm good. What college football program will end its misery of being bad? I think Virginia Tech's got a chance to turn it around in the next couple of years, and they're in a manageable conference. As much fun as it is to make fun of Florida fans lately, I do think that they're going to be improved. SEC championship game, Georgia versus Texas. Yeah, those are the two favorites in the SEC. Spurs up 5. Here comes another free throw. It's good. 35-29, 6-point lead for the good guys. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. We need the Spurs to win the first half by more than 2.5. The Manning's real goal is to have a relative start at every SEC school. Well, what is it? 3 down. 3 down. 13 to go. Is Burgle still in there? No, she's out in the den with the lady. Is that sentence on the wall behind you real? No, it's AI. It's Sark's shitty play calling. I think Ole Miss will put up a fight. Spurs with the ball up 3. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Spin move in the lane, kicks it to the corner. Good defense by Minnesota. And that's going to be an offensive foul on the Spurs. Elbowed the man. West Virginia has a very good chance of ending their misery. Yeah, I think they'll be way improved. Year 2 under Rich Rod, I think they'll be a lot better. I'd be surprised if they're competing to win the Big 12 or make the playoff, but I won't be surprised to see them be a lot better than they have been the last couple of years. Sorsby should be banned for life, yes. And the NFL should ban him too. You absolutely cannot allow athletes at any level to bet on that same level of sport. You just can't not allow it. Well, the Timberwolves just won't give up here. 35-34, just under 5 minutes to go. Spurs with a 1-point lead, and they've got the ball. We need the Spurs to go on a run here to close out the first half. Jumper, no good. Rebounded by the Spurs, and they give it right back to fucking Minnesota. Minnesota with a chance to take the lead here, down 1. Into the lane, up off the glass, and good. Minnesota takes a 1-point lead with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. NFL does not appreciate people who make it look rigged in any way. That's why my son got kicked out of T-ball betting on his own games, banned for life. And the Wolves drain a 3. They're up 2 now, 39-37. Come on, Spurs. How do you feel about Kirby Smart saying the Big Ten is better? I've been saying that for 2 years, buddy. It's good for Kirby to finally agree with Uncle Lou. The Big Ten's been better than the SEC for 2 years in a row now. And I've been saying it for 2 years. World Cup is better than the college football playoffs. I love the World Cup, but to me, nothing is better than college football. Indiana ended their curse last year by winning the Natty, and now I feel like it's Oregon's turn. Billy Napier here. This is my burner. I'm better than Ryan Day. Shout out to Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. Wimby back in the game for the Spurs to close out the second half, so maybe they can go on a run here. There's the first bucket that ties it up at 39 with 3:21 to go. We've got the Spurs minus 2.5 in the first half, so we need the Spurs to go on a little heater here the last 3 minutes of the first half. Kirby's been watching the Uncle Lou. Oh, I'm sure he watches Uncle Lou every day like he's supposed to. We're at 111 points in the Knicks game, so it looks like the over is going to hit. We need over 229, so we need about. Knicks have the ball for 3. Drains it. That's good. Still 5 minutes to go. And they're at 114 points. We need about 15 more points to hit the over in that one. Go Hogs, Lou. No, but unfortunately, I am anti Arkansas for the foreseeable future. Nothing against Arkansas, but you hired a fat-lipped dumbass as a head coach, and I'm going to have to take my frustrations with him out on the Arkansas football program this season. So it's not going to be a fun time around here this year for Arkansas fans, because I'm going to have a lot to say about every loss they have, which is hopefully going to be a lot. Match up the SEC and Big Ten. I would agree with that if the 17 and the 18 team of the Big Ten have to sit out and we get 1 through 16. 1 plays 1, 2 plays 2, all the way down to 16 playing 16. We can do that. Connor Stalions only cheated because Mike Bobo told him to. Bobo haters. The Hogs are a basketball skew. Lou, do you have any thoughts on Squid Tar glazing you in his video last week? I haven't seen it. I didn't know anything about that. I talked to Squid Tart a couple of days ago. We have the same sponsor deal or the same company. But no, I didn't. I don't have any thoughts on it because I don't know. I mean, if he said something nice or kind about me, obviously I always appreciate that because it doesn't happen very often. Usually if somebody's talking about me, they're mad about something. But yeah, I talked to him on Saturday. You know, sitting in the Vegas airport waiting on my flight out of town. I called and talked to him for about 10 minutes about some business stuff. What did he say? I'll have to watch it later. He glazed you like a donut. Look, I like Squid Tart. Look, I don't give unsolicited advice. But if people ask me, I don't mind. And my thing with people that want to do YouTube or whatever, I give them the same advice every time. Sometimes they take the advice, sometimes they don't. Um, and I tell everybody the same thing. And I'm happy for Squid Tard because I know how hard he works. The types of videos that he makes take days to make, not hours. They take days. The editing, the voiceovers, stitching the clips together. I do some of that sometimes. Um, he's been an editing genius for a long time. A long time. And, you know, he didn't try to copy what somebody else was doing. He didn't try to imitate somebody else. He didn't try to take what works over here and force it onto his channel. He found his own niche and groove. He found what he was good at, and then he worked hard at it. And that's what you have to do. I mean, there are some overnight sensations on YouTube, but the vast majority of people who have made a living off of YouTube, it's a grind. You know, it's work every day. It's you know, and I'm happy to see the success that he's had. The guy that sets up my sponsorship, I don't know what I call it, he's basically an agent, I guess. I don't know if he refers to himself as an agent, but that's how I refer to him. He's a middleman between me and, in this case, PrizePicks or anybody else that I do a deal with. And he called me, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and wanted to know if I knew anybody else that he might could work with. And Squid Tard was one of the names that I gave him. And I wouldn't look. There's some people that I I wouldn't say, yeah, this guy, because I don't like him. So why would I do anything that could potentially benefit them financially? If I don't like you, I'm not going to give you any attention at all. For example, there's a guy that used to be an Alabama YouTuber, used to be friends with him, thought we were still friends. For whatever reason, out of the blue, 2 or 3 months ago, I don't know if something's happened in his personal life. I don't know if his best pig died. I don't know what's going on. But out of the blue, he's got a lot of shit to say about a lot of people, a lot of my friends, about me, for seemingly no reason at all. So he's persona non grata to me now. I'm never going to mention his name. I've blocked him from commenting on the channel. I mean, I don't know what he was expecting. Some kind of petty fucking back and forth, because why, I don't even know. But like, so when somebody calls me and says, hey, who are some other YouTubers that I can potentially work with or whatever, there's a list of names, and I'll say these, and then there's another list of names where I'm not going to even mention. Like, why would I do that? But Squid Tard, he's been doing the YouTube thing a long time. And in my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, this is just what I think. There's, it's a grind. You build it slowly over time. You develop a viewership. You create a community. You build relationships with people. You carve out your own sort of niche, whatever it is. And if you're lucky and you work hard enough, it'll catch on, and eventually you can turn it into something that you can make some money on and potentially even make a career out of. And that's what Squid Tard's done. And he's a good kid. I've known him a long time, met him a bunch of times. He's been to the Slav Olympics a bunch of times. I hung out with him at Myrtle Beach with my kids one time 4 or 5 years ago. He's a good kid. He works hard. Well, we lost our Spurs bet, tied at 45 at halftime, the Spurs and the Timberwolves. I have not met Bad Dog. I came close one time when I went to New York last year. I got in touch with him a couple of months before I was going to New York, and I told him, I said, I'm going to be in the city. I'm not going to give away any of his personal business, but he doesn't live in New York City or anywhere near New York City. He does live in the state of New York, but New York is a big state. Anyway, he doesn't live in the city. I said, hey, I'm going to be here these days. I can't get out of the city for those 3 or 4 days that I'm there. But if there's any way you can come down, man, we'll hang out for the day, go out to lunch, something like that. And he tried. Me and Bad Dog have been friends for a long time too. But it just didn't work out. You know, he has a full-time job on top of everything he does on YouTube. He's the hardest working person I know when it comes to this YouTube thing, because unlike me, I devote a lot of time to YouTube. I'm proud of what I've built here. It's all of that. But he's doing all of what I'm doing, basically. I mean, in his own way or whatever. He's not copying me. I mean, he does. But I mean, the hours he puts into YouTube, he puts full-time hours into YouTube like I do. But he also has a 40-hour-a-week full-time job. And he's got a young son. He's, married, young, the whole thing. So, I mean, it seems like there are 30 hours in his day. I don't see how he does it. He's the hardest working person I've ever seen on YouTube, because I know what all else he has going on outside of YouTube. And I don't see how he does it. He must get 4 hours of sleep a day. But anyway, it didn't work out because he's got his full-time, quote unquote, normal job, plus all his YouTube stuff, plus a young son at home. He wasn't able to come down, but I hope to hang out with him one day. I like him a lot. How much money does it take to start a channel? Zero, unless you don't have a cell phone. All you need to start a YouTube channel is a cell phone. I started this YouTube channel in 2014, and that's all I had for the first 3 or 4 years. That's all I used was a cell phone. Now, things are different now. People expect a different level of professionalism on YouTube than they did 10 years ago. That's all anybody was doing, yelling into a phone. I mean, now it's a little bit different, but it doesn't take a lot of money. I mean, you could start a YouTube channel for free if you have a cell phone. It costs no money at all. Zero. The cameras on cell phones today are better than the professional cameras you could buy 10 years ago. I mean, I have a high-end 4K webcam that I'm using right now, but I could easily just prop my cell phone up right here and stream. Hell, the most popular videos I do are the Your Season Is Over videos. They're filmed 100% with this. I literally, this is the Your Season Is Over video. It's 2 hours of me doing this. I mean, it cost me $0 to make a Your Season Is Over video. It takes a lot of time, and time is valuable. But as far as upfront cost to start a YouTube channel, almost everybody over the age of 10 has everything they need to start a YouTube channel: a cell phone and an internet connection. I have spent a lot of money on my channel cumulatively over the years. Thousands of dollars on a computer, hundreds of dollars on monitors, thousands of dollars on microphones and headphones and soundboards, and $25 a helmet. I mean, whatever. But as far as up front initially, it doesn't have to cost you anything. What are the Braves doing? We hit the over, y'all, in the Knicks game. That's good news. And the Braves are still winning 1-0. That is also good news. Your final, 137-98. The Knicks blow out the Sixers in game 1. And the comment section hit the over. So y'all went 1 for 2 today. So that's good. So I jumped on y'all for missing that first bet, but you redeemed yourselves by winning that second one. So shout out to the comment section. 1-1 is not bad. 1-1 is not bad. So shout out to y'all for that. Y'all went 1-1 on your bets today. Yeah, I'll have to watch that Squid Tard video. I'm surprised they didn't mention it. I talked to him on Saturday. Talked to him 3 days ago. He didn't mention it. How long after starting a channel would you wait to start going live? Well, it's a little different now than it used to be. There used to be no point in doing live shows at all if you had under 500 or 1,000 subscribers, because, like, what do I have, 75,000 subscribers? I do a live show, how many people are going to watch? It's a couple of hundred. During the season, there'll be more, but like right now, there's 88 people watching. I have 75,000 subscribers. So you can imagine if you had 10,000 subscribers, how many people do you think would be watching the live stream? But now it depends on what the live stream is. There are certain live streams you can do now that will attract non-subscribers. Like during the college football season, when I live stream the games, there's a lot of people that tune in that aren't subscribed to the channel. They're on YouTube searching for games, and they'll come across the channel that way. But like to do a call-in show, I do a call-in show, and how many people will I get to call in a 2-hour period? 5 to 10 maybe? And that's with 75,000 subscribers. So if you've got 5,000 subscribers, and you try to do a call-in show, that might be a waste of time. You might not get anybody to call in. There's really no way to know until you try it. But it used to be that the only way to grow your channel was to upload videos. And then live streams were something you did for fun to hang out with your subscribers. And that's why I still do the live streams. But there are channels now that all they do is live streams. A lot of these IRL channels, in real life type stuff. So there are ways now to grow a channel by strictly live streaming, whereas years ago, people would ask me that question and I would say, you have to upload videos every day. Just upload videos. If you can't do it every day, do it 3 times a week, but be consistent. If you're going to do it 3 times a week, do it 3 times a week. Now, if you have the time to live stream, there are ways to grow your channel through live streaming. Not this type of live stream, probably not. It's going to be most of the people in here now have been subscribed to the channel for a long time. They like hanging out, shooting the shit, talking some college football, watching whatever's on, just kind of hanging out. But there are streams you can do, different forms or different genres of live streams that you can do. Where you probably would attract new viewers. I don't take that approach necessarily. I still try to grow my channel through uploaded videos, and then I hope that a certain percentage of new subscribers will migrate over to the live shows and enjoy the live shows and things like that. I appreciate that, Jay. Does it ever feel odd to tell people IRL this is what you do for a living? Not anymore, because people understand it now. When I first started, people looked at you like you were crazy. Back in 2015, 2016, 2017, when I would meet somebody and they would ask what I did and I would say YouTube, they would be like, huh? What do you mean YouTube? Well, when I first started doing YouTube, I didn't even know that YouTube paid people. I had no idea. And most people didn't 10 years. They had no idea. They would go to YouTube if they needed to change out the faucet in their sink and they didn't know how to do it. They'd go to YouTube and they'd type in, how do I change out the faucet in my bathroom sink? And they'd watch a video on changing out your faucet. That's what they thought YouTube was. They had no idea people were making a living on there. I didn't know either. So back in 20, you got to remember this was before TikTok. This was before a lot of that sort of the video sharing stuff. People had no idea that you could even make a living off YouTube, never mind how you made the live. Like, so even when I would tell people, yeah, I do YouTube, they say, oh, what do you mean? Like YouTube pays you for your videos? You're like, well, through advertising. They're like, well, what do you mean? And you'd have to explain to them, okay, you know how when you click on a video, an ad will play, and after 4 or 5 seconds, you can skip it and get to the video? They say, yeah. I say, okay. Every video that I upload, anytime one of those ads plays, I'm getting paid something. Now it's pennies, but over the course of however many views you get and however many videos in a week and then however many weeks in a month, you're getting paid advertising money from you. You literally have to explain that to people. I think now it has become so mainstream that I think most people now understand that social media, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, can be a way to not only make money but earn a living. But yeah, it used to be extremely weird, especially at you got to remember, I'm 48 now. I'll be 48 next week. My birthday's next week. I'll be 48 next week. I've been doing this for 11 years. So I was 36, 37 years old when I started doing this. So the conversations I was having was with other people, my parents, trying to explain to my parents, forget it. Trying to explain to my parents that I was going to try to make a living on YouTube. I mean, they looked at me like I ran away from home or something. Like it was, like I was speaking a foreign language. But I think now, 10 years, 11 years later, I think more everyday, your everyday person on the street now, I think understands and knows that people not only make money, but can earn a living through social media, whatever that happens to be, whether it's YouTube videos like I do, or I don't make any money. YouTube is the only social media platform that I make any money on. That's it. I have a Twitter, but it's not monetized. I have a TikTok, but it's not monetized. The only social media, Facebook, none of that. The only social media platform that I've ever been paid a dime from is YouTube. That's it. All right, that's it. But y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out tonight to watch the game. We'll do it again tomorrow. I hope y'all had a good Monday, got your week off to a good start. I love you guys, and enjoy the rest of your week. Oh, and have a good morning.